What is good, everybody? It is about the end of the year, about time for our 2025 MMA Awards. We got a lot of different categories that we feel like we covered. We're going to cover multiple different, like Rookie of the Year and Comeback of the Year, and an award that this show is famous for, the Tony Ferguson Award of the Year. And yeah, I'm very excited. It's been an all right year for MMA, but what do you guys think? I think it was an all right year for MMA.
Yeah, I love
Uh,
the end. The
oh,
beginning kind of sucked, but the end was great.
Yeah.
yeah, it was all right. It had its hit or misses. We had a couple, pointless women MMA main events, and then you had your also like shit Apex fights that didn't need to happen. But then once we realized that ESPN's about to leave and we're going to Paramount, they started to get a little better with their stuff, with the pay-per-views and stuff. So I'd say it was all right. I mean, to be honest, it hasn't been a great year for me. But other than that, UFC has been carrying the year a little bit with some decent fights.
Yeah, you gotta. Here's the thing. I think UFC did this on purpose. You gotta go out with a bang. Like this sets the tone for a Paramount deal. So imagine if we would have ended the year off with like a pointless fight where we know it's gonna be no action. We wouldn't be happy for the Paramount shit. Now we ended the year off great. Like the way the last pay per view ended was great, and the card we just seen ended great. Now that's gonna set the tone for this 2026.
Yeah.
And looking great, looking promising with the White House card with the fucking like $8 billion Paramount's shilling out to the UFC. Like as a consumer or as like a business guy, you have to assume for them to take it a step up next year, but we'll have to see. They're gonna have to build back their faith in me a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. To be honest with you, I'm pretty pumped for the Paramount deal. We're already having some good fights in the making in the opener. Patty versus Gaethje. Then you got a couple other good fights coming up, and then I think we got a what's going on in no March is the Houston card. That one's gonna be a good one, I think too. We might potentially be getting Joshua Van versus Manel Cap on that card too. So who knows? So yeah, and other in the White House, I'm not really. I mean, it's just a UFC event for me. It's kind of like the Sphere event for me, in my opinion. But instead, we're gonna have a billionaires brunch in that area. So not really. I mean, I'm pumped for it, but I'm not really like. I'm not expecting. I'm not expecting them not to make it bad. I mean, not make it good. So I'm expecting some good things.
Yeah, there's a lot of powerful people putting a lot of money into the UFC this year. So for the UFC's sake, they better perform. It's all fun and games till you got, leaders of the free world front and center watching you fight. Some of them leaders of the not so free world, but regardless, they all going to be there. They all going to be shilling out their billions to watch you fight. This is some political bullshit, no doubt. This is some Hunger Games shit, but I think that's why like they're going to try to pull out the best. So I'm looking forward to the card. It's definitely going to be a spectacle. But yeah, without further ado, why don't we just get into our rewards? Awards.
You want me to kick it off here?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, starting with we're gonna go with women's 3 round fight of the year. Who's willing to step this one up here?
I'll be honest. I don't know.
I'm
Fuck.
trying.
It's
3 round. Hold
quite
on.
awesome.
3 round. What is the 3 rounder?
I'll go if y'all want me
All
to.
right. I need a
Um,
refresher.
it's I mean I don't know if you would consider it UFC like, but it was on the Contender Series. That Argentinian girl fighting that other girl, the smaller girl, the smaller Argentinian bitch. That was a good fight. I forgot her name, but that was a pretty good fight. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'll put that up there. I thought it was a very entertaining fight for a woman's standard.
Well, I'm trying to. If we're not talking about contender series, I don't know. Like if we're talking about just 3 rounders, because a lot of them go to decision, right? And a lot of
Yeah.
times it's not like the most entertaining decision either. I'm trying to. Let me think. Golly. Where
I want to say Andrade
I
fight
can
this year. Say Andrade Loopy, maybe.
maybe.
Maybe. I honestly don't know though.
Yeah.
We-
That's tough.
yeah. Honestly, 5 round is hard too. I can't think of a good 5 round women's fight off the top of my head.
Man, I'm gonna name the Mackenzie Dern title fight, man. I'm gonna name that.
It's not a bad option, to be honest. There was some shit that happened this year. Not that I can think of.
3 round women's fight of the year. It was on the Contender Series, and I'm trying to remember what was the fight. I'm gonna find their names right now.
I would say Mike just brought it up.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
fight was insane.
Was it the Argentinian girl?
Yes, and the Brazilian.
Yeah, I think that's definitely 3 round women's fight if we count Contender Series. If we're counting strictly UFC, I genuinely have no idea. I'm gonna just say Andrade Loopy because that's the only one that came to my mind. I remember Andrade had a scrap with somebody. I forgot who, but
Andrade
say
fights are
both.
always exciting, though, for sure.
They are. I feel like that's a good shoot just for my answer, so I don't have to spend too much more time looking through 3 rounds women's MMA fights. Congratulations, Andrade. You made it. Yeah, I guess we're ready to go into 5 round women's fight of the year or 3 rounds men.
Yeah.
I go women's 5 round.
My women's 5 round fight of the year, I'll go with Valentina Shevchenko versus Menon Furo. I thought it was a pretty good fight. You know, two of the one of the best flyweights on the division in the women's division. So I thought it was a good little exchange. I had it 2-2 going into the fifth, and that fifth round was also a pretty good round. I thought they had some good moments in there.
Yeah, I would say that fight or turn Jandaroba. I both felt like they had action. But I'll say Manon Shevchenko just because I feel like it's a little bit more skilled, some more knockdowns in the fight. But yeah, I don't really have anything else to add for women.
Yeah, that was a really good fight. Shout out to Valentina too. Shout out to her. And Tony, I'm so glad your girl lost. I'm so glad. It's something about your fighters losing that makes me happy. There's something about that. And yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man. I'm
Tony?
gonna also go with Valentina Shevchenko and Manon Fiorot. I thought that was a good fight. I picked Fiorot. That's my day one. But nah, Shevchenko did good, bro. She beat her in the boxing. She wrestled when she needed to. She won that fight clearly because of great performance from Shevchenko.
Alrighty, we ready to move on for the men's 3 round fight of the year?
Yeah.
My men's 3 round fight of the year is going to be Joshua Van versus Brandon Royval. I thought it was just a very good fight. You know I shit on Brandon Royval a lot on the channel. He is a very soy man, but when it comes to fighting, he is very entertaining. Joshua Van as well. We'll get to him in a minute. He's had a very great year, I think, including with this fight. I thought him coming back on short notice. I think it was like 6 or 5 days notice for that fight, and he just came back after sliming out Bruno Silva. I thought that was a very, very good performance by him, and he showed that he was able to hang with the big dogs and took out the number one contender at the time. I thought that was a very good fight, him and Joshua Van. It was just them slinging leather. I liked it. I'm gonna go with that as my 3 round men's fight of the year.
Yeah, I that's a very close one for me as well. Another honorable mention I want to mention is Nicholas Mota versus Nazim Sadikov, I want to say it was. That was a very good fight, but my pick is actually going to be a fight that happened pretty recently, and it is 3 round fight of the year, but this was only a 1 round fight, and the reason I'm picking it is I think
Oh, I know what
out
you're
of
about
all
to
the
say.
UFC fights that ever happened, this is one of the craziest rounds in minutes of a fight we've ever seen. I'm going to go with Ivo Baranevsky versus Ivo Aslan. The sheer amount of scraps like that they were like just fighting. Like that was a bar fight. That was no MMA fight. That was let me drop you. All right, I'm gonna get back up, get dropped. You know, it's just a back and forth knockdown fest. And I feel like that fight had me screaming, I think, more than any other fight this year. And it was in such quick succession. Like I'd be screaming, I'd settle down for 1 second, now I'm screaming again. And it was like that for like a solid minute and 30 seconds. I think this is probably like the craziest 1 round fight, even beating out Chet Congo, Matt, and Pat Barry. Uh, this is going to be mine just for that. I feel like it's a historical fight as well. I think we're going to look back at this fight as like one of the craziest scraps of all time, even though it wasn't super high level or super long.
Yeah, and like I was gonna go with Joshua Van versus Roy Val, but you got me rethinking because that one round, that one round had more action than most fights this year. Probably every fight this year, to be real. Like I'm not gonna lie, for as long as it lasted, that's some of the greatest fighting I've ever seen. Like that was, man, that shit was so crazy. I'm not changing my pick though, but I love that. I love that fight. I'm still going with Joshua Van versus Roy Val because that fight was literally 1-1 going into the third, right? And here's the thing, right? Joshua Van was doing good in the third, right? But judges can rob you. That's possible. He dropped him at the end. Judge can't rob you when you drop a nigga at the end. They can't do nothing about that. So like he put the finishing touches on that. He made sure he couldn't get robbed in that. And I feel like that fight was Joshua Van becoming a man. I feel like as good as he is, I love Joshua Van. He needed that. He needed a war just like that, especially at that age for his developmental process and his growth. He needed that badly.
Agreed. I just love
Yeah,
that.
all these were great choices. The Joshua Van Brandon Ball fight was insane. I want to say it broke records in strike counts and flyweight fights. I want to say Royval has the most strikes landed in a flyweight fight because of that, and Joshua Van is second all time in a fight because of that fight. It was a great fight. I don't mind that being Mike and Jay's choice, and I also like Alex's choice because not only because I had a parlay on it, like I had Evo Baraneski in round one, but that fight was insane, back and forth knockdowns. That was literally like a 1 round bar fight, just as Alex alluded to, and it was amazing. But similar to how I went women's 3 round fight of the year, being a contender series bout between Sofia Montenegro and I think it was Chavez. It was a Brazilian girl who was undefeated. That was my female 3 round fight of the year. My male 3 round fight of the year actually also comes from a contender series. Rikiki, and he went against this guy from the Congo. Well, I don't want to butcher his name, so I want to get this right. I want to pronounce it properly. Where is his name?
Hey, those Congo niggas be strong as shit.
Yeah, like Dolce Lugliambula. Like he's like crazy, like physique.
That dude was like terrifying looking as well, if I remember right. Like he
Yeah,
looked
it was. It was against Anais no Anais Malumba. It was, bro, that fight, go watch it. Like it's on YouTube, I think. That was back and forth knockdowns. It was a 2 round fight. It was just a crazy scrap and a prospect I'm also wanting to keep my eye on that I saw emerge from that in Marwan Rahiki. So 2 contender series fights made my 3 rounders of the year. I love what I saw in both those fights. Those were wars. One had a finish. One went to a decision. I want to say even though Sofia Montenegro lost in her fight, she got signed. So yeah, I'm gonna go Marwan Rahiki and Anais Malumba for my 3 round fight of the year.
some contender series representation.
Yeah, good contender series season.
You're muted, Mike. You're muted. You're muted.
We're ready for the next one. We'll edit that out.
Yep.
Our men's 5 round fight of the year. There's some not many big ones I remember too much, but I'm gonna go with it. You could probably say bias, but I really liked Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez 1. That was a very fun fight. We showed that it showed some moments here. You know, we thought like, I mean, in the prediction video, we all picked Volkanovski to win the fight, but we thought like if there was a potential like fight-ending moment, it would have been Diego Lopez potentially. But Volk was having his moments rocking Diego as well, and it's very rare to rock Diego Lopez, and they were just slinging it out. Like that was probably the most I've seen Volk come into the pocket and trade with somebody like that in a minute. Normally Volk fights very technical, and he isn't like not like in those technical boring fights per se. He just he's very high IQ when he throws things, and that was one of those moments where he went full on Mexican fighter mode and just wanted to trade with the person. So my 5-round fight of the year will be Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez 1.
You muted, Alex.
Yeah, yeah, it happens, don't it, Mike?
Yes, it does, man.
My trend, I think I'm going to be going with a lot of these fights that I'm picking for fight of the year. A lot of them I feel like are going to be ending in finishes. I feel like Volkan Lopez is a very strong contender as well. But I'm going to be picking a different fight with one of those two guys in them. It didn't go very long. It was a finish, but it was very hyped up. It was very high level while it lasted, and it ended in a finish with both guys having dominant moments. A very hyped up fight that I feel like we sold Diego Lopez a little bit too short on. I'm going to go Diego Lopez versus Gene Silva. That was one of the most high level fights of the year. It was a scrap as well. Both guys took a lot of damage. Diego Lopez was on top of Gene Silva, just fucking pounding him 10-8. And as soon as the second round happened, Gene Silva was just hitting hit markers on the feet with every fucking straight right that he threw. And it looked for a minute there that it was about a switch and that Gene Silva was going to be able to get a KO on Diego just to how much he was cracking his chin. And then Diego pulls out the spinning elbow, fucking Gene, that's, been floating around that whole fucking month with Lerone Murphy and everybody else, hits another spinning elbow and ends the fight. I don't think it was as we didn't get as much fight out of it as we did with some of the other fights that went 5 rounds, but lately I've been favoring the finish and like the craziness over like the technical striking pitter pat stuff. And I feel like just kind of the way I've been evolving as an MMA fan, I'm kind of going backwards. I'm going back to like the blood and guts. Like I want to see the bar fights, no technique. I want to see motherfuckers die, and I feel like that was kind of a throwback to them, except two guys that are not bums. They're two very skilled guys fighting in a barn burner. So I'm going to say that one. Good fight.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie to you. I forgot that even happened. Gene Silva, a damn idiot for that. I just thought about that. Like, bro. Okay, first round, he gets dominated. Second round, like you said, the tide starts to turn. This where ego gets you. Why the fuck did he chase that nigga down? Give me one reason why he did that. Like, there's no reason. Hey, his ego got him fucked up. He thought he was invincible. And I like Gene Silva, but the nigga thought he was untouchable. He gets spinning elbowed. And I'm gonna be real, he deserved that. But like, hopefully though, he grows from that. And like, you gotta learn, everyone's still a threat, especially Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez not the most technical guy on the feet and all that, but he's dangerous though. We seen in a Volk fight. Volk was the better technical fighter and Volk won, but every time Diego hit him, there was a big reaction because Diego's dangerous. With that being said, I'm picking that Volk fight versus Diego Lopez. That's my pick right there.
This is a tough one. 5-round male fight of the year. When you really look at the main events of the pay-per-views this year and fight nights, you either had like kind of a landslide performance or you had kind of like an uneventful decision. Rarely do you get like those good finishes as well as being a good fight. I like Jay and Mike's choice with Volkanovski and Lopez from a 5-round standpoint. It went the distance. We got to see Volkanovski's chin checked and see he wouldn't perish after getting touched the right way. So that was, like encouraging to see. And he was able to use his experience and win that fight. And I don't mind Alex's choice for the brutality and the nonstop intensity and action from the Diego Lopez and Gene Silva fight. I think that just shows the testament of an exciting fighter that Diego Lopez is that he finds himself in both candidates for the fight of the year category. It shows how much of an entertaining fighter he is. But I want to go with Volkanovski and Lopez, but there's a natural contrarian in me that doesn't want to do that. So I'm gonna, reach and try to make a new one. If I'm thinking about 5 round fight of the year, I like both those choices, but man, I can't believe I was thinking that, but nah, this just wasn't that crazy of a year. It was either landslides or boring. So I'll go with Mike and Jay on this one. I think I'm gonna go Volkanovski and Lopez. That was the fight to determine if Volk is washed or not. He had a great bounce back performance after coming off the loss. I want to say it was to Ilya. That was his last fight prior to that fight, and it was good to see him win the belt back. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Volkanovski and Lopez. Great performance from Volk.
Yeah. There wasn't really else to pick from certain things. There was
I
just
was
other
gonna say like Cannoneer and RoboCop, but nah,
nah.
nah.
Alrighty. Moving on. We we got crowd of the year.
I don't feel like one stands out so much this year, to be honest. I feel like the Chinese fans were pretty crazy during the Zhang and Walker fight. French are always crazy.
I was about to say that.
Australia, honestly, I don't remember them being that crazy this year.
Yeah.
Probably because they had ass fight nights. Yeah, they didn't care about Strickland DDP either.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say France or China. I'm gonna call it a tie. I'll say China because I don't think China will ever get in the mix again. I think France is gonna come back every year and be an exciting crowd. I remember China going really hard for their guys, so I'm gonna say China. I think that was Shanghai.
I'm gonna go with. I'll go with France. Why not? We'll get one vote for France as well. I think France had some very good fight. They always have the best crowd. I do like Alex's take on China. We're not really gonna have. That's probably gonna be one of the last times we get like a good China crowd. So might as well vote them while it was perfect. So I don't mind that one, but I want to go with France mainly because every time when the UFC comes to France, they always have high energy moments.
Mhm.
Either they're singing the French national anthem while two non-French fighters are fighting, or they'll just start banning for their own. Yeah, I think France is a very good crowd for certain events.
I'm over thinking about it. I think I'm gonna change my pick. I forgot about it. I feel like I gravitate towards the foreign crowds a little bit more, but there was a very big city in the United States that they haven't gone to in a very long time that they put a very big main event in. My hometown. They acted like they hadn't seen a fight in years, and they lived up to the hype. I'm gonna say UFC Chicago, Dricus Chimaev. I don't remember a lot of people leaving even during the main event. They were there, they were loud. I'm gonna say Chicago.
I think if I'm not mistaken, like even you got people showing up in the early prelims. Normally that's very rare.
I want to say it was stacked in the early the crowd. So shout out to Chicago. Come back.
All right, man. Listen to me. I ain't gonna do too much talking. Like them French niggas be loud as shit. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I love the French crowd. Like they're the opposite of the Brazilian crowd. Like they're so locked into the sport. Even if the French fighter is ass, they still locked in. Like it reminds me of like a wrestling crowd, like a WWE crowd when they're in France. Like I love France, but what I will say is they need to stop going to France because it spoils us. Like they need to like space it out. Like go a year. Like hey, next year do not go to France. It will make us appreciate it even more.
I think Alex and Jay and Mike made great choices with France and Chicago, and even throwing in China in the mix. But I'm gonna go with this one solely because I think it's gonna be a long time since we come. it wasn't a bad event. It was all right, and they had some guys win from their region. Very niche market. Uh, I don't see us coming back, so I'm gonna give them a little consolation prize with my nomination for Crowd of the Year. I'm gonna go with UFC Baku. Um, I don't think we're going back, but I thought they had a good time. Showing with the talent they had. The Sajikov Mata fight was nice. Fiziev Bahamundes was more point fighting than I would have liked, but nonetheless, their guy won. Hill Roundtree could have been more eventful in my mind, but Roundtree kicked his ass, so it is what it is. Yeah, I'm gonna go UFC Baku, just because I don't think we're going back there. I think there's a better chance we go back to China than we go back to Baku.
UFC card in the Caucasus region is always going to have fans. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
We ready to move on to the next award? Alrighty. Our next award is debut of the year. My bad. The next award is debut of the year. Even though he got frauded out in New York, I still got to go with Malcolm Wellmaker, man.
My dog.
That debut was phenomenal, man. Like I know his debut was against, who was it again? Was it don't tell me. It was the dude that got beat up by O'Malley, and I keep forgetting his name.
Chris Moutinho.
Moutinho was his debut, right?
No. Cameron Simon. Cameron Simon.
Cameron Simon. He's right. I think it was Cameron Simon.
Yeah, it was Cameron Simon.
But while we had Wellmaker on those debuts, I think he had a phenomenal debut. I like Malcolm Wellmaker still, even though he kind of got frauded out. I'm gonna go with Malcolm Wellmaker for debut of the year, even though he got frauded out, he was still getting like recognition from the sport. Like he quit his job from being a construction worker, now he's a full-time fighter, and he just flat out changed his life. There were some casual people that went up to me, and normally they're the type of people that would ask me, instead of saying Israel Adesanya, they'll say Style Bender. So those type of people came up to me, and they were talking about like Malcolm Wellmaker, and that surprised me. And yeah, I'm gonna say Malcolm Wellmaker for debut of the year, even though he didn't have the full-on success. He did get frauded out. I'm going to go with Malcolm Wellmaker for my debut of the year.
Yeah, when I think of debuts, you only get that one fight, and it's usually against somebody who isn't super good. Usually it's not a ranked opponent or anything like that. I don't know if this is cheating. This is somebody who, it's his second debut in the UFC. Tony knows where I'm going. Our boy! Yeah! Kyoji Horiguchi! Yeah! Yeah, I can't put him in prospect of the year, that's for damn sure. But,
Yeah.
I mean, he did debut, and he beat the fuck out of a Dagestani in his home court. It was absolute cinema. That's all.
Yeah, he beat the fuck out of Tagir. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was a bad ass whooping. I know niggas, y'all was saying that you can only debut once. Well, he debuted twice. He made his return back to the UFC, and that wasn't even competitive. I remember looking at the strike count. It was like 10 to like 100 something. Like, that was a bad ass whooping. Like, that's an ass whooping only a parent could give you. It was that bad. Like, damn. You know what's crazy? I'm not, just because he debuted for the second time, I'm not going to give it to him. I'm going to give it to my boy Malcolm Wellmaker, even though it looked like he got, even though he got beat up his last fight. I feel like Malcolm Wellmaker can make it back. Like, he got to get back to the drawing board. But damn, I was depressed watching that last fight. But I'm going to go Malcolm Wellmaker.
All great choices for a debut of the year. Malcolm Wellmaker, he ruined a 7-leg parlay for me, but aside from that, he had a good performance against Cameron Simon in his debut and followed up with another knockout over Chris Moutinho. I really like Alex's choice. I had money on Kyoji Horiguchi in that fight against Tagir Ulanbekov. He looked phenomenal, defended the takedowns, the speed was there, the striking was elite. He just kicked Tagir's ass in his home court. That was just a very amazing sight to see. I wanted to go there, but I do kind of think it is kind of technically cheating a little bit. I consider it more as a return than a debut, but nonetheless, I would let it stand. But I want to be different. That's the natural contrarian in me. Um, there were a couple directions I was looking for going aside from Horiguchi. Yaroslav Amosov, recall recency bias. He just had a very great performance against Neil Magny, got a first round submission. The takedown was nice. The anaconda choke was disgusting. I think he's a very good fighter. But I'm actually going to go with an underdog who I actually picked against. I'm going to go with Yusri Belgary. I thought his performance against Azamat Bekoev was very impressive. His takedown defense looked good. His striking looked good. He was able to get a TKO. And what shocked me was I thought he already had a fight in the UFC, but it was the Contender Series. He had like 2 stints on the Contender Series. He lost one, he won one. And I was pretty confident that Bekoev was going to beat him. And Yusri Belgary made me eat my words. He had a great performance. He finished Bekoev, and he looked great. So I'm actually going to go with Yusri Belgary for a debut of the year for me. Upset.
Yeah, everybody had some pretty good picks on that one. Not too many good debuts, but I thought we picked the best ones. Now coming up, we've got pay-per-view card of the year, the best pay-per-view of the year. I was gonna go with UFC Miami, but I'm gonna go with the recent pay-per-view that happened back. I'm gonna go with 323? UFC 323. I'm gonna go with Piotr Jan versus whatchamacallit. Piotr Jan versus Marab 2. I'm gonna go with that one. I thought we had a really good prelims. We had a really good main card. Great main event. Co-main event didn't go according to plan, but I thought we had a decent ending from it. Not I shouldn't say that. I didn't want Pantoja to break his fucking arm, but I think it was good that we have a young champion in Joshua Van and stuff like that. I thought those were some good I thought we had a good pay-per-view from that. Originally I was going to go with UFC Miami. I wouldn't be mad if somebody did pick that for their pay-per-view of the year, but I'm going to be a little different here. I thought UFC 323 was phenomenal. I'm going to go with UFC 323 for my pay-per-view of the year.
Yeah, I have to agree with Mike. UFC 323, just outcome wise, I feel like it was the most fun. It wasn't the greatest on paper, but I think the MSG card showed us that paper is just paper. You can have all these good fights, and if they don't perform, it's not good. Whereas this card, I think it was pretty consistent entertainment throughout. I want to say like the worst fights on the card were Vittori Fahea and the Macy Barber fight. And honestly, like if those are your worst fights of the card, that really ain't that bad. The Vittori Fahea fight's really the only one I would call a objectively bad fight. The Pantoja arm break wasn't good, but I do feel like we had things to talk about still after that fight, despite it ending in such a shitty way. I feel like the main event was just storybook ending, and that was the ribbon on the present, and that was just that. To me, the main event made it the best card of the year. If Marab won, maybe I'd be saying something else, but Jan won, so that's the best card.
Okay. I agree with it's UFC 323, and just the thing about the main event with Marab and Jan. It's not that I wanted Marab to lose. It's not even just that. It's just if Marab looks unbeatable, right? The division doesn't seem exciting at all. So with Jan beating him, now it's tied. It brings balance back to the division. We thinking about other matchups now. We're thinking about Jan Umar, Jan O'Malley, maybe again. Like there's other fights that opens up. Now it seems like the division isn't. I'm not gonna say being held up, but Marab was kind of looking unbeatable. But now it brings balance back.
Yeah, I think this is going to be our first clean sweep, unanimous agreement across the board. I do believe UFC 323 Jan Dvalishvili 2 is the pay-per-view of the year. Bias aside, went 10-3-1 on picks. Had a very profitable night betting. Had like a 3-leg first round finish parlay with Jalen Turner, Ivo Berneski, and Mansour Abdul Malik. Get that. Well, Torres is an underdog inside the distance. Jan, that was like one of my best picks of the year. Pick Joshua Van, very unfortunate circumstances. Hate to see it happen to a guy like Alexandre Pantoja. Hate to see it in general, regardless of how you feel about a fighter. You never want them to get injured in that fashion.
Hey, there's some niggas that wished for that to happen, though. There's some niggas that really be, you know what I'm saying?
There are. Nonetheless, super unfortunate. Very sad for Pantoja, but have a new champion. It is what it is. That's just how life goes. The show must go on. 2 new champions. You had a lot of young contenders I thought looked good. Myron Santos, Peyton Talbot. The future of the weight classes and the divisions look good in their fights. I even had a fucking draw. The first draw of the year. Literally the last pay-per-view of the year. Bogdan Guskov and Jan Blachowicz had money on Guskov. Kind of felt like he won the fight. But besides that, yeah, it was a great card. 323 across the board. I think it was a good card. Good prelims, prelim headliner, exciting finishes, 2 new champions, performance of the year, arguably from Piotr Jan. I just thought it was a great card from head to toe.
Alrighty, moving on. We got best fight night card of the year. This one's a tough one. There wasn't really that many great fight night cards this year, I feel like. I'm gonna go with the UFC card in I'm gonna go with the UFC card in around, what was this? January. I'm gonna go with Israel Adesanya versus Nasruddin Imavov. That card. It had some pretty good cards on there. We had Vinicius Oliveira versus Said Nurmagomedov on that fight. That was a pretty good fight. We had MVP fighting Shara. We had Izzy versus Imavov. It wasn't a bad card per se. I'll put that up there. But other than that, I think there wasn't really other good fight nights. I think you could also put the fight night that happened recently. You could put Manel versus Royval on there, but I don't know. There wasn't really fight nights that really wowed me per se. I'm gonna go with Imavov versus Adesanya, January.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with another Muslim-themed card. I'm gonna go with a recent one, UFC Qatar. I felt like the outcomes of that card were very fun. There was a lot of finishes, a lot of interesting things on the card. Main event, Armin came back and got a first round or second round submission. The co-main event, although it wasn't super entertaining, Bilal versus Gary is a very high-level fight. And we had finishes just up and down the card. Volkanovs, KO, Oralbai KO, Waldo KO, Kyoji, masterful performance. Luke Riley makes his debut, gets a beautiful KO. Asu Amabayev fucking clutches a win in the third round. The debut of the Turkish dude Yakayev, who got a 30-second KO. Another guy who got a really fast KO, Ismail Nardiev, right in the beginning of the fight. We had Alexander Topuria fighting Beksat Almakan on the card. 2 great prospects. We had undefeated Tajikistani Khabib knockoff Nurullo Aliyev fighting Cage Warriors prospect Shamrock. Outside of the first fight on the card, which was just Denzel Freeman and Marek Brulho staring at each other, I liked it. And the Dalby fight, which was kind of mid. Every other fight, I would say it's damn near 10 out of 10 watch value outside of those 2 fights. So I'm going to say UFC Qatar. They always put on a great show for those sheiks.
All right. You said the card that had KOG versus Taguera on it.
Yeah,
that's Hooker and Armin. Yeah. Listen, I gotta go with that because I'm not gonna lie to you. Kyoji Horiguchi ain't been in the UFC since.
You own your own business.
Since since he lost the Mighty Mouse for real. That's his only UFC loss. But that was a crazy return, right? Then I'm not gonna lie, I love Dan Hooker, but Armin did what we thought Armin would do to him. He kind of just mauled and beat the dog shit out of him, right? But I like that card. That's for me. That's the one. It's probably because of the Horiguchi win. Because I'm not gonna lie, for me that overshadowed everything. You feel me? That was such a perfect return. Like, I don't think he made a mistake.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna agree with Alex and Jay. UFC Qatar was a good end to the year, fight night wise. The Sarukian performance was impressive. Ian Gary got a win over a former champion. Not too eventful in that fight. Actually, kind of shocking how he didn't get penalized for any of the fouls he did. Qatar, it was kind of crazy. But I agree, especially with the sentiment of Kyoji Horiguchi. You could not write a better return. You immediately have a Japanese contender in the weight class. His return to the UFC went with flying colors. Money on him. Very proud of that pick.
Mm-hmm.
Really good performance. He literally beat Tagiru Lebekov everywhere in MMA. Like, completely outclassed him. Luke Riley, successful debut. Yakyaev. Yeah, a bunch of great performances. I think Alex hit it on the nail. Aside from the Nicholas Dalby and Izagakmaev fight and like one other fight, I think the card was pretty much nothing but hits. So yeah, I'm gonna go with UFC Qatar as well.
Yeah, also, you know what? I forgot how stacked that one is. I think I might change my that one too. I'm looking at the Adesanya card. It was a good card and all, but it wasn't like stacked like this one. So I'm gonna switch my pick here as well. I'm gonna go join y'all in that Qatar one. I'll go with Armin versus Hooker as well for my card of the year. I can't lie.
Only card ever where every Dagestani lost. There's
Huh?
other like Chechens and Caucasus fighters that won, but that I think was the only card where every Dagestani lost.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think about that. And I also didn't I forgot how stacked it was. I just thought I don't know. I didn't think too thoroughly on that one. But yeah, I'm gonna agree with y'all on that one. I'm gonna switch my pick as well for that one. Yeah, yeah. Alrighty. I think we're ready to move on. We just gotta get Tony back in here, but other than that, our next one is upset of the year in a UFC pay-per-view. Oh, that's tough. Pay-per-view of the year upsets.
Hey, Tony, I need you to flip that camera. You're like.
There we go. Wait,
Camera's off.
there we go.
We'll cut that
Yeah.
out.
This is the pay-per-view upset of the year.
Yes.
Well, I actually was like going through Twitter and screenshotted it. I could actually send it to Jay real quick. Give me 1 sec. Send it. I'm gonna keep talking, but yeah, it's the top 25 of the year. So I mean, I guess that would fit of underdog of the year. There's one that we all could easily say. I mean, it's kind of pretty obvious, but I'm gonna go with one that I bet the highest one. Well, it's tough because the second highest one I actually kind of am more proud of, but at the same time, like, it's not that crazy. But why not? I might as well take credit for it. Yeah, I'll go Piotr Jan over Merab Dvalishvili. The way they were talking about, they were making him sound like he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. He's unstoppable. And I'm not gonna lie, on his win streak, I was on the wrong side of it a lot of the time. Pretty much picked against. Kind of like lessens the credibility of the pick, like, but because like I've just been fading him for so much. But Jan had an amazing performance. He should never be plus 300 ever in his life. He's one of the most skilled MMA fighters I've ever seen in my life. I think if they run it back in a trilogy, Jan TKOs him. So happy to see him get his belt back. Was able to cash out on it. Yeah, I think I'd have to go Piotr Jan, Merab Dvalishvili, especially when even with the loss, like they're saying Merab's like still fighter of the year, which I don't like. I don't hate your argument, but like, yeah, he was trying to defend his title for the 4th time in a year. It's like but I'd probably go Jan. Aside from that, though, I'd probably go Mizuki in a way. That was like the biggest payout. I was really proud of that one. I just sent it to you, Jeff.
Oh, okay. I see. Okay, I see Michael Johnson over Zellhuber. Hey, that's a good
That was
one,
good.
right? I may have to go with that. I can't even lie to you. But then again, it's Michael Johnson is susceptible for upsetting people. Like it's Michael Johnson. So let me golly, let me see. You know where I'm gonna go? I know where I'm gonna go. We're gonna go motherfucking Ethan Ewing over my boy Malcolm Wellmaker. That's where I'm going, man.
Oh man,
Bro, that shit hurt my
parlay ruiner. Oh my god,
yeah,
bro.
that shit really hurt my heart. I like Malcolm Wellmaker too. That's my dog. Like, and I know he gonna come back from this, but like, you gotta think about it. It's short notice, right? It's replacement. It's a replacement fighter. I don't know how.
48 hours.
48 hours, right? Like on paper, Malcolm Wellmaker's supposed to start him. It's supposed to be a highlight reel. But you know what? You know what concerned me? I thought it was a trap fight only because the odds wasn't as crazy as I thought they were going to be. Like I thought
Word.
like the odds were kind of closer than I expected. So I'm like, oh, this may be a motherfucker.
That's why I played it. That's why I thought we were getting Malcolm cheap.
Man, that was a setup right there. But yeah, I'm going Ethan Ewing versus my boy Malcolm Wellmaker.
I think both Tony and Jay had some good ones. Malcolm Wellmaker upset against Ewing, and I think Tony, you said Marab versus Jan.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with a different one. I'm gonna go with Alex Pereira beating Magomed Ankalaev, and you could say it wasn't really an upset. Everybody was happy about it, but I think we were all in agreement that we kind of wrote Alex's tombstone ready for him to retire. I think we all picked. I don't remember a single soul, unless if you're a biased Brazilian guy from Brazil picking Alex. I didn't really hear that many people picking Alex Pereira. Um, the I'm gonna go with that one. I think that one's a very big upset for me. I thought it was just gonna be the same old fight. Tony's is a good one too. Jay hit it on the nail on the Malcolm Wellmaker one, but I'm gonna go with this one for being pay-per-view upset of the year for me. I think Malcolm Wellmaker, not Malcolm. I think Alex Pereira's fight with Ankalaev was surprising to me. I didn't expect Alex to kill him like that. Like I thought. I mean, if I expected a knockout, I wouldn't have been surprised if Alex was going to be the one. But I thought Ankalaev was going to finish Alex because he caught him in the second round, or one of the rounds that he caught him in. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev too. That one was very shocking to me, and I was very happy about that one.
This is a year of the upsets. We were talking a little bit about this before the card. The biggest underdog upset on paper was Peyton Talbot versus Ione Barcelos. But I think I'm going to have to follow Jay here and go with Wellmaker just because I feel like Talbot and Wellmaker were talked about similarly on their rise. Whereas, I can kind of forgive losing to Barcelos. Barcelos is a good fighter at the end of the day. Whereas Ewing is a complete nobody. He just came in on short notice from a construction job. Like dead ass, he was on the fucking site, came over or some shit. Like he was working that week. He had a fight like the week before. There was no reason Ewing should have won that fight on paper. He just had a fight. He just made weight. He's doing fucking construction and just UFC Malcolm Wallmaker, and somehow he won. I don't know anybody who picked Ewing, and I feel like anytime like a fighter is supposed to fight somebody, like Wellmaker was supposed to fight Haddon, and Haddon gets replaced with like a total bum on short notice, you fucking hammer Wellmaker. Everybody picks him then, but it's like Joe Anderson Brito in this last recent fight. Everybody picks him except for Tony. But I feel like that's because of Ewing. Like we've been shown, like these people that are a little bit fraudulent. Sometimes these cans can come in and beat them. But it's close between Talbot and Wellmaker, but it's just like the quality of loss I don't think is the same. I'm gonna go Wellmaker. He should not be losing to Ewing.
Yeah, agreed. I think we had some pretty good ones here. Next one is upset upset of the year on a fight night card. There's a lot. If this fight didn't happen, I would have probably went with Joaquin Buckley against Usman because that one was a surprising one to me. But I'm gonna go with Bo Nickel versus Renier de Ridder. I was that was a pretty big upset in my opinion. I did not expect that to happen. I picked Bo Nickel to win that fight. I remember both Alex and Tony picked not picked against Bo Nickel. They picked de Ridder. I was pretty shocked about that. I can't lie to you, but I think that was a very good upset of the year candidate in my opinion. So my upset of the year candidate on a fight night card will be Bo Nickel versus Renier de Ridder.
Coming off the top of my head, that's kind of the only one that I think of as well. Obviously, it was a successful prediction for me, and I think it kind of showed people like Bo Nickel is good, talented, but he ain't no MMA fighter like this yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly think it was a good thing for the trajectory of Bo Nickel. He came back, head kick KO. Sometimes you got to be shown a level. I honestly really can't think of a better one. I'm sure Tony could think of like 10 better ones, but I like the de Ridder one. I know that he was a very good dog. I'm gonna go with it. Fuck it. I'm sure there was another one out there that was like pretty niche, but big time. Everybody knows Bo. A lot of people know de Ridder. I'll say that one.
Man, shout out to motherfucking Bo Nickel. And I just want to say this about RDR. What happened to him against Brendan Allen? That motherfucker quit. That's hey Tony, your boy don't got heart. He don't. Hey, you can't teach that. You cannot teach that. Your boy is ready to go home. They said he still feel the effects right now.
They got put in the Dutch pot.
Man, I did not expect for it to go like that. Not like
And,
like he was.
especially after round one,
Yeah.
that shit was wild.
Man, he was distraught. His morale was so low. Like his morale was so low, you just knew he had no more chance. There was no chance to win.
You want Brendan? So your Brendan Allen was your upset?
Nah,
Okay.
no. My upset is the Malcolm Wellmaker. That's my.
No, I'm talking about fight night.
No,
Fight night. Oh yeah, for sure, for certain. And that was therapeutic to watch too.
Yeah, it was a very good underdog pick on a fight night. I'm actually this is gonna be my first award where we have it's like Jay knows about this. Sometimes in rare seasons in sports, you've had co-MVPs, co-defensive player of the year, where like we share the MVP.
Mm-hmm.
That one's that's what's gonna happen for me on this one. I have two upsets on a fight night that I'm very like still like mind boggled how it happened. I'm gonna go with both of them are named Carlos. Funny enough, I'm gonna go Carlos Vera against Josias Musasa. He was like near plus 600. He literally won the. I'm very big on Josias Musasa. He's like Alex and Mike would tell you. Like I like him a lot. Ever since I bet him on the Contender Series against that Georgian guy, I think he's a raw potential prospect, but he lost that fight as a massive favorite. Carlos Vera literally won the only way I think he possibly could have. A head kick into a submission because he's a Taekwondo guy with some who pulls guard and tries to like get submissions. Like Musasa should have been more heavier on the boxing and pressuring him. He gave him too much kicking room and he was able to land a head kick that dropped him and he followed up with a submission. To this day, it was like an insane, one of the most unrealistic ways I thought that fight was going to happen. There's that one, and the other one for me is a fight that I thought was the lock of the card: Muslim Salikov against Carlos Leal. I had him in a parlay. That's the first time he's ever been knocked out in like a 25-plus pro fight career. I thought Carlos Leal was going to destroy Muslim Salikov. I thought there was a volume difference. I thought there was a durability advantage. I thought if there was grappling situations, it'd be Leal. I was convinced like Leal is a lock on that card, and Salikov proved me wrong. very quickly. So I'm actually going to give a co-award for Fight Night Upset of the Year to Carlos Vera against Josias Musasa and Carlos Leal against Muslim Salikov. The Carloses take the Fight Night Upset of the Year award for me.
Alrighty, moving on. We got Coach of the Year. Everybody was probably gonna go with the Fighting Nerds, but they were fucking frauds this year. I'm not gonna lie to you. But I'll let one of y'all kick it off here. You're muted.
Good point. Yeah, I don't think there's been one as clear cut as there has been in the past with like our Trevor Whitmans and Eric Nixick. I think it's a little bit more up in the air. I think in the first half of the year, everybody was gonna go for the Fighting Nerds guy, and I think he deserves credit because the way I see it is he took 4 extremely average fighters and made them something. I don't think on paper if Gene Silva or Carlos Pratis or Baralho they'd be anything special if they went anywhere else. I feel like they were able to get kind of roped in and trained. I think like without the Fighting Nerds guy, Gene Silva would just be the tard that we saw in the 3rd round against Lopez. There wouldn't be like this wiring in because all these guys got a similar type of style of striking, very patient, precise, counter heavy. I honestly think like Rufy wouldn't even be in the UFC if it wasn't for the Fighting Nerds. I think Pratis' takedown defense is all accounted to them. And Kyle Barallo's career from being like a fucking science teacher, having a jiu-jitsu background and just immediately getting hands, I do think like a lot of that has to do with the coach. I do think the coach is actually very good, and I think I am going to pick him for Coach of the Year, despite his fighters not doing so good. Because I see the fighters that he has on paper as extremely average that he turned into something great. At least most of them got turned into something great outside of Rufy. But, you know, he's entertaining and shit. He's flashy. I feel like he was able to turn these guys, like I said, into just extremely fun and dangerous fighters when normally they'd probably be PFL fighters.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Shout out to Rufy though. This is what I'll say. I don't even think the reason they're losing is his coaching. I agree. He took all of them from scratch. I believe he's a good coach. With that being said, let me counter this Rufy point. I don't think Rufy would be in the UFC without those Conor McGregor videos he was watching. Cause he was really mimicking Conor. Like even his last fight where he lost against it was BSD? Who did he fight? Oh yeah. All right. When he fought BSD, I was really waiting for the Conor McGregor Chad Mendez moment. I'm like, I'm waiting for that. Hey, that moment never happened. That was not in the script. Like he's trying to do that. He didn't have the ability to do that. And BSD is not Chad Mendez either. So golly, hold on. God damn, nigga. But yeah, I don't think Rufy's a bad fighter. I think he's an exciting prelim fighter at best, though. Like, I don't know how far he can go. I think he need his own style that's not Conor McGregor's. Like, because I think how Conor was fighting back then only works for Conor because it's Conor. I don't think it will work for Rufy. Like, you trying to duplicate it. Like, you can't replicate that. But yeah, I am picking a Fighting Nerds coach, with that being said.
Tony?
This one could be a little bit of bias, but I think it's warranted. He doesn't have as much of a exponential camp as much as the Fighting Nerds coach would, having to deal with 4 guys at a high level. So I suppose he has the easier path, but I do think he had the most successful win when we're talking about coaches. I'm gonna go with Piotr Jan's coach, Kairat Nurmagomedov. He came up with the decision tree, which basically it was like a list of multiple scenarios where takedowns and chains of there's basically like actions that Marab would do through a fight. It was a decision tree, like breaking down what the worst scenario could be. And I just think Jan looked so in conditioned. He looked so ready for everything. The adjustment with the elbows to the forearms when in the clinch was beautiful. I think I saw that in the Isaac Thompson Joe Anderson Brito fight. I'm not saying Piotr Jan invented that. Like, hey, if someone's trying to take your back, just start elbowing their forearm. I'm not insinuating that he's invented that or recreated the wheel, but it's just very refreshing to see him use such high IQ. I think Kairat Nurmagomedov came up with a great game plan against Barab Dvalishvili. This is a guy that, even after the loss, a lot of people still think is the bantamweight GOAT, and was trying to defend his title for a record 4th time. He could not complete that in a combat sport, unlike someone who's trying to do that in boxing. And Nonoya Inoue, if he wins late December, he would have defended his title for 4 times in a calendar year. Marab was unsuccessful doing that, and I think you have to have a damn good coach to stop a guy like Marab. So my vote is for Kairat Nurmagomedov.
Tony's got a good one. Alex and Jay had a pretty good one. But this one I'm going to go with that's not really being talked about. I'm going to go with Daniel Pineda. He coached, if you guys don't know, he is Joshua Van's head coach. And for him to bring Joshua Van with a simple style to a championship level contention, I think that is pretty good. Maybe it's just that Joshua Van is just very fucking good, but for how Daniel Pineda's gotten Josh to get to where he's at right now, I think that is pretty good from a coach's standpoint, I think. I know mine is probably not going to be taken seriously. Maybe you might just call it glazed, but I think what him as a head coach doing for Joshua Van is pretty impressive to me. He's bringing a young kid in, and we didn't even think Josh was going to get to the title shot just yet this year. We thought he was going to like get built slowly up because he's like super young. He's like around, I think he's 22, 23 years old. And for him to get to where he's at is pretty successful to me. And for him to bring Josh up and have him improve, especially after getting knocked out, I think that was a pretty good improvement in Daniel Pineda's Daniel Pineda's route. I'll go with Daniel Pineda for my coach of the year. So
I never thought of him as a coach, but you're right. You are right.
yeah,
He is.
I was gonna go with I didn't know who was his coach, but I think whoever helped him out for the head coach route, I think deserves that props, man. For him to like, normally if you hear like, normally coaches like have their bumps and bruises there, but for him to help Josh improve at a young age from getting knocked out not that long ago, I think that's got to give you some, I got to give some props on that. And also I kind of want to be different here. So why not go with Daniel Pineda for coach of the year? Moving on, we've got analyst of the year. That one's going to be difficult. There hasn't really been any good analysts in MMA.
I want to say like last year and every year we've done this, I want to say it's been a unanimous MMA guru was how everybody voted. I do think this is because I don't think like the actual like Chiesas, Bilal's, Anthony Smiths mean a goddamn thing. They don't know what they're talking about. But as far as like outside of guys go, you know, a friend of the channel, I don't know him very well, Tony does, but Magic and his crew did a very good job predicting this year as well. Bedtime MMA made a big resurgence this year, becoming one of the biggest channels. I think if I have to say one, I'd say Magic and his crew. I've honestly never even watched one of their videos, but I heard they do good. And Bedtime MMA.
That was a pretty good one, but for me, just because of how much more recognition he's been getting, I still have to go with MMA Guru, man. He's bringing in character, like whether you like the man or not, he is building up. He's bringing it up for the analysts here, and I think he like, call it glaze or not, but I think he was one of the people that helped us out as well start this podcast as well. Like he helped us bring in some character. building like passion and stuff like that into the sport. And dude still does it. Like even when I don't want to do a prediction video for fucking Lamos versus Dern 2, Guru's out here still doing it, and why not? Why? I mean, if he's gonna do it while he doesn't need to fucking do it, why might as well do it. So I think you got to go with MMA Guru, especially he brings in the noises, he's bringing in the numbers. Like you have to put that man in the probably one of the best, if not the best, MMA analysts of any standpoint. I'm gonna go with MMA Guru here, but Alex brought up a good couple ones in bedtime MMA and Magic.
Okay, so I'd say MMA Guru just off the standpoint of the passion he got, even if he's wrong, right? The passion and conviction he speaks with. Like I love that about MMA Guru, right? But I'm probably gonna go him, right? Hey, but what about see, I don't be watching a lot of these channels, but you know who I do know? I know this nigga with the big head, Lucas Tracy, right? I know who that is. Wait. What's my Nigeria nigga name that be saying anything? He just be saying anything out his mouth. Yeah.
Oh.
Kenny, hold up. Yeah, Kenny, you feel me? He an Israel Adesanya stand too. Shout out to you, Diggy. Yeah. All right. But nah, listen. I go MA Guru, but that's only because like I've seen MA Guru stuff and I'm not gonna lie, even though he do cross some lines sometimes, right? Yeah, he be jumping some lines. It's like the conviction and passion he got, when he speak about the sport, I feel like you need that. Like there's a lot of people who don't really be caring about the UFC analysts, but they be watching MMA Guru break down the fights though. They watch that. And I feel like that's good for the sport.
The category is MMA social media presence, I'm assuming?
Analyst of the year.
Analyst of the year. And what did you guys pick? You both choose MMA Guru, and what did Alex pick?
I
picked-
said tie between Magic and his crew and bedtime.
Yeah. Tough. Because I definitely hear where Mike and Jay are going. I mean, you know, we can debate it all we want, but the fact of the matter is, when you look at his views compared to like an ESPN MMA, he's competing with them. MMA Guru has been doing this for like 6+ years, ever since like I want to say at least 2019, like going on 7 years strong. Like he's built a legitimate following and a legitimate presence on YouTube. I think his breakdowns are good. The passion, as he alluded to, it's great for memes and great for just overall content in general. From a betting standpoint, though, I do think in the arena with Magic MMA and Nick Davis is like elite. I think they're giving you great inside looks, and I definitely trust Magic's ability with betting and MMA. He's been so successful. We call Piotr Jan. He goes for finishes. He goes for dogs a lot too, more often than not. And yeah, I think it's really I'd say for in terms of like the casual consumer and watching like the sport and just trying to get into MMA, I'd say for sure MMA Guru. But I'm gonna go with Alex on this one. He partially gave it to them, but I'm gonna go in the arena with Magic, MMA, and Nick Davis. I think they kind of give a very similar kind of dynamic as to what we're trying to do on this podcast. We all enjoy MMA. Some of us bet it, you know, some of us just watch it to watch it. At the end of the day, though, we all have takes and we all have ideas and perspectives that we don't want to provide in a corporate like manner. And I feel like they do a really good job of doing that, where you could be a casual, you could be a hardcore, you could be a guy who bets it. And I think their content is going to translate either way. So I would go in the arena with Magic MMA Davis for MMA Analyst of the Year.
Yeah, those were some pretty good ones. Not really much analysts, unfortunately, in the MMA scene, but I think we pretty much picked some good ones. Next one, we got Gym. Should we do Gym of the Year? I mean, I think we already did. We already did Coach of the Year.
We did Coach of the Year. I mean, we could do Gym of the Year. It's fine.
All right, let's fuck it. Let's do Gym of the Year. I mean, if I went with Daniel Pineda, might as well go with Joshua Van's. Uh, eh. I'll go Joshua Van's gym. I think for a small gym, for them to build him up and stuff is pretty good. But actually, it's hard. There's some pretty good gyms out there. I don't know if I want to put. Co- nah. I'm gonna switch mine. I'll go with. I'll let y'all go.
Yeah, this is a one I'm actually going to change it up from my coach of the year because, as I said with my Fighting Nerds prediction, I feel like their success is more reliant on their coach than anything else. I think when I see the gym, I'm talking about the fighters inside the gym. And to me, this is going to be another one where I have to go two because these two gyms I see as them very similarly because they're both like breeding grounds for people to come in and train with each other that normally wouldn't. One's in the West, one's in the East. I feel like Extreme Couture in America is kind of a gym where everybody can go and get rounds with whoever you want. You got Ankalaev in there, you got Strickland in there, you got bantamweights. I've seen Talbot in there, I've seen Marab in there, Aljo. Like a lot of guys from other gyms cross over to Extreme Couture. So like you're not only limited to the roster of Extreme Couture guys, like like a Strickland or people like that. Like you have other people coming in, getting that rounds with you, and I think that's very important when you're having an MMA gym. Like your fighters have multiple different looks. And as far as the one in the East goes, I'm gonna have to say Tiger Muay Thai. This is another one where you kind of meet Thai striking with the Dagestani wrestling. Everybody from kind of like that Eurasia like line east into Asia all kind of goes to Tiger Muay Thai. And I feel like you have like your perfect mix. It's a striking gym with a Muay Thai emphasis in like at the end of the day. But all these guys coming in, Chechens, Dagestanis, you got Hamzat in there sometimes. You got Amasov in there. You got Jan in there. You got guys from City Kickboxing crossing over. I'm gonna say it's a tie just because like this is just such a good like breeding ground for young talent to like just see everything and know what you need to do. Like you can see everything from the guys that are bums to the guys that are good. You got heavyweights, flyweights, you got a million different styles, and like you're gonna be going up against the best in the world in those gyms. So I'm gonna say a two-way tie between Tiger Muay Thai and Extreme Couture.
um, golly, I want to go Tiger Muay Thai, or do I want to say? I was about to say ATT, but only cause listen, cause they got a lot of fighters there. That's a gym that got everybody. They got Pantoja. Hope he get well, right? They got Kyoji Horiguchi just made his return, and like he making the gym look even better right now. You got Moicano. You got a lot of people. You had motherfucking Dustin and shit. You had at one point you had Kobe. That's a that's a great gym. I feel like that gym there's so many people that there's a little bit of everything. You get really good fighters, you get trash cans, you get mid fighters. Like you get to see every level. You get to test where you really are because there's nothing but bodies there. But I'm going TNT. I'm going ATT for sure.
Um, I'm gonna do a tie between American Top Team and Tiger Muay Thai. I think both gyms have done phenomenal. You could probably say a bias towards American Top Team because I am from Florida, but I think American Top Team is just a very good gym. Back in the COVID era, you had people like Piotr Jan and people like those type of names perspective. They're coming to Florida and they're training an American Top Team, and some of them still do. And you also got Armin Sarukian. Even though he didn't really fight this year, he trains with that one Brazilian coach that I like, Perupa. Shout out to him. He's very good. I like him as a coach. I like we got Amanda Nunes coming back, well, she's not going to be in the American Top Team, but Kayla Harrison, who's a champion there, I think that speaks for itself for her to be at American Top Team as well. I'm going to go with American Top Team, uh, slightly out of my tie, mainly because of how much of a year they're coming back and having. But yeah, that's my final thought on that. American Top Team is my gym of the year.
Yeah, this is honestly like Loki. I want to give the award to the state of Florida. I am biased. I am a Floridian, and I live within literal miles away from Coconut Creek. Top team. I live within range from Deerfield Beach to get to Killcliff. I think both gyms are fantastic. Killcliff is basically like all of the welterweights, Loki. Like Shavkat, Usman trains there a lot. I'm pretty much just going to give this to the state of Florida. Maybe edge towards top team over Killcliff, but I just think the state of Florida has so many fucking gyms. Orlando, uh, ATT, Killcliff, MMA Masters. I think we are the best state in any fucking sport. I think we could compete in football, basketball, soccer, baseball. For MMA, American Top Team consistently through and through is just a great gym. They have elite coaching. They have ranked contender sparring partners. They have former legends of the sport and like Dustin Poirier and etc. Alexandre Pantoja does a lot of his stuff there. Hanato Moicano, Grant Dawson, Chris Duncan, Taoish Gamrot. None of these guys you think the world of, but nonetheless you don't. They're notable names. Pyotr Jan's done a camp there. Yaroslav Amosov does stuff there. A lot of those Russian guys tend to come here. What's his name was doing a camp here. Pavlovich. ATT's loaded, and Killcliff is like Brandon Allen, Shavkat, RDR, Usman. I mean, yeah, this goes to the state of Florida. Two-way tie, I suppose, between Killcliff and American Top Team, but edge towards Top Team. Elite gyms. Bias, but yeah, that's just how it is.
You're muted.
Been doing this for a minute now. Next one we got men's fraud of the year. Pretty much like as it says in the award, it's people that were hyped up highly and didn't do well in their as they're hyped up to be. I was gonna go with Bo Nickel, but he won. I was gonna go with the Fighting Nerds, but Carlos Prates is succeeding. So he's literally the last Ronin Michelangelo of that team. If you know, you know. This one hurts. I'm gonna go with Lonnie Cavanaugh, bro. Lonnie Cavanaugh disappointed me, man. I thought he was gonna be a successful name, and losing to Charles Johnson is not a horrible loss. But how he went out, it's very upsetting to see. You could also put Malcolm Wellmaker up there too. But I'm gonna go with Lonnie Cavanaugh. I know people are kind of like giving him the Joshua Van pass where like he'll probably improve in it. He's still getting young and stuff, but bro has been like this the whole career. Like I thought I was gonna see some major improvement in some of his fights, but he hasn't really shown much for me to think there's gonna be improvement. But he is young; he'll probably improve. But my male 2025 fraud of the year is Lonnie Cavanaugh.
I was really ready to just say Wellmaker, but I thought a little bit, and I think in my mind the undisputed male fraud of the year is fucking Patchy Mix. That fucking can.
Oh.
Holy shit. He was murdering people in Bellator, and everybody's like, oh, you know what? He's going to come over to UFC, and even if it's close, he'll beat Mario Batista. He doesn't do anything. He just stands there like a deer in headlight. He looks like a fucking gingerbread man out there, just skinny as fuck, just standing. Like, he ain't doing nothing. And, it's like, all right, maybe he had an injury. Wicklax is like his same style. Even if he is ass, he should be able to beat him, right? Nope. Yeah, Patchy Mix is fucking terrible. Fucking so bad. I was like, oh, maybe he'll follow the Pitbull trajectory and like, he'll be an underdog or something, but he'll get his next win. Nope. You know, he gets a fucking Wicklax, which I don't think Wicklax is really good. He looked like shit. He was just fucking pulling submissions the whole time. He had no technique on his striking. Patchy Mix just fucking sucks. You know, and like it's crazy because like I know we all think badly of Bellator, but we all kind of thought he was good. You know what I mean? Like he was murdering people in Bellator. You know, people that are relatively good, like Stotts. But it comes like there is the big leagues and there is the Bellator leagues. You know,
Yeah.
and we have been showed that multiple times this year, over and over and over again with these Bellator fighters. But it's never been so bad as to what it is with Patchy. He is so fucking terrible.
You know what? Actually, Lonnie, you're not gonna be a fraud of the year this year. I'm gonna give this fraud of the year award to Patricio Pitbull. Why not? We'll just go with Bellator motherfuckers here. I'm not happy with fucking Patricio Pitbull. Yeah, he had a win, but goddamn, bro, you did horrible. I thought when he first got signed to the UFC, me, Alex, and Tony were thinking like, you know, yes, Patricio Pitbull's getting older, but we expected him to at least make it to the top 5. I don't even know how the fuck this dude is in the top 15. Dude is just that bad. I don't think he's that good. I'm gonna switch my pick here. I feel bad for Lonnie that I kind of shed on Lonnie Kavanaugh, and we didn't have the good stuff in Patchy Mix and Patricio fucking Pitbull. I want to go with Patchy to switch it, but I don't want to just be like, oh yeah, never mind. Ha. I'm gonna go with Pitbull. I'm gonna go with Pitbull after thinking about that. Pitbull was a former champion, and we all thought he was the Bellator GOAT. Dude's just fucking horrible.
Man. Okay. Let me not shit on Bellator, even though them niggas is ass. So like this is the thing. When it's a Bellator nigga, man, the UFC, I know what they're trying to do. Let's give them a ranked opponent. No. Make them niggas fight an unranked prospect or something. Because if you think a Bellator nigga is good, right? And you take him to the UFC, he's gonna look like some bullshit. So like you gotta work him up. Like if Patchy Mix would have fought a can, right? And whooped him. Okay, I don't even know if he would have whooped him, but say he would have whooped a can. We'd be like, we need to feed him better opponents. He's good. Instead, we feed him people who actually have a brain and working hands and feet. And the nigga look ass. Like, damn. Like, I remember when they were saying Patchy Mix is a better version of Aljo. I remember when they used to say that bullshit. Like, bro, Patchy. I've seen Aljo move his feet on the outside. I've never seen Patchy Mix move his feet before. His head don't move, his feet don't move. Nothing. He just kind of stands there and get hit. Like, oh my goodness. Imagine if he was in the top 5, what would happen to him? They would do some illegal things to that man. No, like for real, they would do some wild, twisted shit to him. Like, man. Like, and I like to think, oh yeah, he can improve. Like, he'll eventually work his way up to a title. There probably isn't an eventually. It probably won't happen, to be real with you. So like, we gotta Patchy Mix gotta face someone unranked. Like, we gotta bury him in the prelim, so then, and he gonna keep improving, and then when he finally get ready to fight a ranked opponent, hopefully he'll be ready. Cause we need to rewrite history, cause this nigga look like some ass. But yeah, Patchy Mix, shout out to him.
Yeah. I like the choices that were made, but I mean, Patchy Mix definitely feels like a front runner for fraud of the year. We were talking about him like when he came to the UFC. This is the dark horse of the division. Not even dark horse. They were talking like he was like a real contender. They were really like boosting up his ego for real. And Mario Batista displayed that he has no head movement and no fight IQ. He attempted one takedown in that fight, and I was like perplexed. I actually went against Batista, and it's crazy because I like Batista, but yeah, he was just outstriking him. So that fight I just kind of gave to UFC jitters, bad fight IQ.
Yeah, okay.
Then I ended up saying, you know what, fuck it. After watching some tape, I'm gonna take a chance with Jacob Wicklax. That was like a top 25 underdog of the year. I picked it. I had money on it, but I ain't gonna lie. Patchy Mix arguably could have won it, and he still lost. You know what I mean? Like, he could fight, do kind of what he's supposed to do, and still lose at a UFC level. His wrestling is not what they said it was. They were making it out to be. They're saying his grappling is on an Aljamain Sterling level. It definitely doesn't look like that. From a control perspective, from a submission perspective, doesn't look like it at all. No head movement, no power, gas tanks like nothing special, just nothing really special, so to speak, for him. I think he was just a product of being a better grappler than who he faced and being kind of bigger than the guys that he faced at a Bellator level. So I think you have to go Patchy Mix. If I was thinking of a close second, maybe Kai Asakura for Tim Elliott to get like his first win in like 500 days. That's kind of crazy. His grappling really is no bueno. But I'm going to give it a Patchy Mix. The standards we were holding him at, the talks they were having of this guy, yeah, I think you have to give it to Patchy Mix for Fraud of the Year. Unfortunately, it is what it is.
We added this one. I don't know why we did, but Women's Fraud of the Year. Since y'all did Patchy Mix, I think we should do the power couple here. I'm gonna go with Tatiana Suarez here, man. I remember when we were like, I was a huge Tatiana guy at once upon a time, but once she started fighting these top names, you could probably blame inactivity, da 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 da. But her wrestling is not as good as I thought, bro. She's just fucking awful when it doesn't come to the wrestling. Like when it comes to wrestling, she's good. But when she got frauded out by Wei Li, I was gonna give her a pass. Wei Li's Wei Li, bro. You can't really hate on that. But dog, you barely beat Amanda Lemos. Old Amanda Lemos, bro. I just didn't like that. My Fraud of the Year is Tatiana Suarez.
Yeah, I feel like there's a couple other ones I could say, but they all kind of go along the same lines as this one, and I can remember this bitch's name, so I'm gonna just say it. Eunice Dubin. She was on the Contender Series, I want to say last year, and she made her debut this year. She got a brutal KO on the Contender Series. She had some real power in her hands, and I want to say I picked her. Yeah, I did, and I want to say Carly Judice just fucking head kicked her in the first round in her debut in the UFC. And that was very stark. I was just like, oh damn, okay. Yeah, no women with power can succeed if you're not good. You gotta be fast. Like Josie Ann Nunez maxing, you know what I mean? Like Josie Ann Nunez is getting KO'd by Priscilla and all this shit. Women with power, I just feel like I don't know, man. You gotta max the technique with it and be like a Lemos bitch. You can't be a Eunice Dupin. But yeah, that was unfortunate for me. I did not expect that.
Man, okay, first I'm gonna say Tatiana Suarez is my pick. And I do like her too. It's just she was always built up to be this female Khabib, and her wrestling is great, right? But against Wei Li, her wrestling didn't matter because her hands are so bad. You got to be able to get to the takedown. If Wei Li don't have to worry about your hands at all, it becomes kind of easy because you don't even have to have great hands. Tatiana can't hurt nobody with her hands, or it's like she has nothing on the feet for her. If she punch you, you don't even know that you got hit. It's like that. And without that threat, there was no way she was gonna get Wei Li down. And I like Suarez, but maybe she's not what I thought she was.
So, female Fraud of the Year, I hear what Mike and Jay are saying as far as Tatiana Suarez. And Alex, what was your pick again? I'm sorry.
Eunice Dubin.
Eunice Dubin. I could understand their sentiments with that. They looked vulnerable in multiple areas of MMA. The thing they're supposed to be the best at or really dominant in, they didn't look too particularly special. And I'm going to go a bit of a different turn. This was the highest ranking women's upset of the year outside of, I think, the Gabriela Fernandez and Kong Wang fight. But I don't know if that happened this year. It might have happened last year. But I'm looking at the top 25 upsets this year, and I actually had money on this one. This was the highest women's one. I'm going to go with Jacqueline Amorim. And I know we never held her to an insane standard like a Tatiana Suarez. We were prophesizing her as the next champion. It was a pick'em odds between her and Weili Zhang. Clearly, the odds makers respected how much of a threat she was. Her story speaks for itself, the adversity she's faced through life, her Olympic caliber wrestling, an Ultimate Fighter winner, this and that. But I don't really look down upon Suarez getting exposed by Weili Zhang. I think she's one of, if not the best strawweight in the world. So I ain't really mad at that. But Jacqueline Amorim was a massive favorite against Mizuki Inoue. I had Mizuki. The Amorim was like near 500, and I was like, her wrestling isn't that good. She's a jiu-jitsu girl and she's got good subs, but I feel like if Inoue just doesn't be stupid on the ground, like she could piece her up on the feet, and that's exactly what she did. That was you go watch that fight. That was clinical, and especially for such a long time away from the sport, like Mizuki Inoue was so inactive and able to put a performance like that. I thought that was impressive. So I'm gonna go Jacqueline Amorim just because like I think she got frauded out being that high of a favorite. I don't really frown upon losing to Weili though.
Is that it? Okay. Moving on. We got comeback fighter of the year. This fighter is he had a mate who had this award just goes down to a fighter that was like kind of like not doing very successful and then just came back to a very successful career. There's a couple in my mind that I wanted to go with. I want to go with it. I'm going to give it a little tie here between Carlos Prates and Alex Pereira. Carlos Prates, he lost his last fight to Ian Gary, and we all thought like after that we didn't really know what else was next for him, and after that, boom, dude's just back into the top 10, just knocking people out. Knocked out Jeff Neal, knocked out Leon Edwards for the first time in his career. I think he has a strong candidate. You could also put Piotr Jan up there. Went from went from losing his belt to an unfortunate circumstance to now he's back to being champ. But my tie for comeback fighter of the year is between Carlos Prates and Alex, and my reason for Alex is when Alex lost, we all thought he was probably going to retire after his next fight. We didn't know what else. You know what? I'm going to give Alex Pereira comeback fighter of the year. I think mainly because like his age, his how he lost the Magomed Ankalaev fight was very unfortunate. We didn't really know how Alex was just going to come back from it, and he came back and passed with flying colors and beat Ankalaev. So I'm gonna go with Alex Pereira in comeback fighter of the year.
Okay, I'm going Prates, only because the Fighting Nerds went from this highly touted, highly coveted gym to godly to all of them losing, and now everyone's saying they're frauds. Fighting Nerds, this, that, like it's like everybody abandoned them, like they're all frauds. And after that Ian Gary loss, it could have been over for him, for sure. But Carlos Prates he didn't make no excuses. He got back in the lab and put some wins together. He went and beat up Jeff Neal. That was a beautiful KO. Then he knocked Leon out, a former champion. He lifted that nigga feet off the ground. Like, that's a perfect way to restore your name. And then after that, he just went back to smoking his cigarettes. Like, that's an example of just biting down your mouthpiece and getting in the lab. He wasn't talking, wasn't doing nothing but working on his game and just getting himself back in the winning column. Because right now, he got a Fighting Nerds on his back right now.
This is a male upset of the year.
This is comeback fighter of the year.
Okay. Yeah, I have to agree with Mike's sentiment about Alex Pereira. We kind of completely counted him out, and then he showed up and did. And I think like the way he fought, He fought like it was his last dance and his last opportunity, almost in a way the way Izzy had to fight him in their rematch. Like this was Alex's last shot, and he pulled it off. We were destined for clinch hugging and boring fucking decisions if Alex Pereira didn't do exactly that. Watching him change it up, go shin to shin instead of the outside leg and the calf, just as much damage as he could inflict. Instead of going left side, he was going right side with the hands. I thought the improvements were great for Alex Pereira, and like that reminded us, like a stark reminder that this motherfucker can really sleep anybody at any time. Like no matter what happens to him, like if he gets held down, taken down, it doesn't matter if he's able to get a couple shots off. So I'm gonna say Alex Pereira. We really did write him off. He's an aging fighter, and man, like when a Dagestani takes over, that's usually it for a couple years, and that's what history's told us. But Alex Pereira's a goat. That shit don't affect him. Even when he's a striker with no takedown defense, he still gets it done, baby. Alex Pereira, comeback fighter of the year. Honorable mention Piotr Jan, but he was on like a steady win streak. I think we Piotr Jan was more the comeback fighter like last year. I'm gonna say Pereira this year.
Yeah. This one's gonna like maybe shock some people, but at the same time, it shouldn't. Last year in 2024, he got finished the first time in his UFC career, and since then he's gone on a 6 fight win streak with with a couple finishes, and now he's the champion of the world. I'm actually gonna go Joshua Van. In 2024, he got knocked out in the third round against Charles Johnson on July 13th. And then he fought literally a couple months later in September 14th against Edgar Chairez. Then in December 7th, he beat Cody Durden by decision. Then in March, he beat Ray Saria. Then in June, he TKO'd Bruno Silva. Then very shortly after, literally like a week or two after, on June 28th, beats Rana Royval on short notice in a top contender fight. And it's unfortunate how he won the title, but nonetheless, he is now the champion. I think a year ago, when Charles Johnson TKO'd Joshua Van, I don't think a year later they would think he'd be the champion of the world, regardless of the asterisks or circumstances. Just to be in the position of a title fight from that fight, I think is pretty impressive. So I'm going to go Joshua Van for comeback fighter of the year.
That was a pretty good one. Moving on. Hold up. My thing ain't working right. There we go. Moving on. We got Bummer Fight of the Year. This award goes to a fight that we thought very highly. We potentially thought this was going to be Fight of the Year, but it didn't go to plan this year. It could be in any sentiment, pay-per-view, or fight night. Mine, I think it might be a unanimous agreement here. I'm going to go with Jack Della Maddalena versus Islam Makhachev. I was very fucking disappointed in that fight. I picked Islam Makhachev to beat Jack Della Maddalena, but I thought it was going to be like the fucking Volk fight. But because how dude was saying in the promo, I thought it was just going to be a competitive fight where Volk, where he said, I'm going to do it for Volk and this and that and yada, yada, yada. Like, I thought this was going to be a good little fight, a little war ahead of us. I did think Islam was going to get him down to the ground and all, but I thought it was going to be an entertaining sentiment. I didn't think it was just going to be half guard camping for 5 minutes apiece, but that was my Bummer Fight of the year. It was a fucking disappointing fight, man. Like I expected fireworks, and normally Islam puts on entertaining fights, even when it's fights that we thought he was doing good in. Like the Dustin Poirier fight was a very great fight. The Charles Oliveira fight, even though he finished Charles, we still thought it was a decent fight. And the Volk fights, everything. Like I thought it was just gonna be a entertaining fight for both, but that was my Bummer Fight of the year.
Man, I ain't gonna lie. I love that fight. I love that happened. No, but like all jokes aside though, like I don't think Islam meant to motherfucking half guard camp him like that. I really think it's really because JDM was defending subs so well. Like he was defending those subs beautifully. The problem is he wasn't doing shit else but defending subs. He like you got to do
Bro
more,
shot a fucking takedown on him too, man.
man. And listen, and then if it got back to the feet, his legs were already toast. Like it, I'm not gonna lie. Like it's crazy. I want him to lose, but I've never felt so bad for a fighter. I seen his face and like how it looked like he was crying. I'm like, damn, I felt so horrible. Like I just felt so bad. Like I wanted to help him out. Like that shit. I ain't gonna lie. But I don't know what's my bummer fight of the year. I didn't seen a lot of bummer fights this year. Like, there's a good amount of ass fights. So I don't know. I know what Tony's is.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to have a tie here between two of the most hyped up fights of the year. I think the two most hyped up fights, Hamzat Chimaev and DDP and Islam JDM. You know, I know that was a dominant performance. It definitely showed how good Islam and Hamzat were, but on paper we expected a little something more. We expected, and you know, I can't blame Islam and Chimaev. I'm not putting the blame on them. But how is, man, like we thought this was going to be a 50-50 close fight. Jack and DDP were going to defend some takedowns. Maybe not 50-50, but at least closer than it was. And I think we all kind of figured if Hamzat and Islam had their way like they did, there would have been a finish in the early rounds. We didn't get that. We were forced to watch 25 minutes of laying and praying. You know, good on them for winning the title. Impressive, but a fucking terrible thing to watch. I'm going to say a tie there. It was just a bummer. You know, I'm sure there was more fights that were less skilled, but just how hyped up they were to kind of have them just be duds and have no real resilience from DDP or Jack just wasn't it, man. Especially for how hyped up they were. So I'm gonna have to say a two-way tie for bummer of the year: JDM Islam and Drakus Chimaev.
Jay, what was your nomination?
I said there was too many motherfucking ass fights this year, but I said I know what yours is.
Now, it was gonna be the two-way tie that Alex said, but I thought of something that even tops that. I will admit, though, I did think we were gonna have. I quoted it, the greatest middleweight title fight ever with Hamza and DDP, and he got dominated. And I felt like he could have done more, but that's a testament to DDP's toughness. Nonetheless, Hamza won a dominant decision, and he did a great job. Very good performance for him. Very good performance. And the same with Islam. JDM had no answers. He was always a foot behind. That's dominant. I can't really hate them on that. I hate on them for not getting the finish, but at the same time, they're winning by such a margin that they don't have to take the risks necessary to do such a thing. But I have the bummer of the year. It's a fight that didn't even get to happen. I'm going to go Aaron Blanchfield and Macy Barber.
Oh,
The ending to that card was, the only proper word is bummer. It was very unfortunate what happened to Macy Barber. I'm glad that she was able to bounce back and get a win over Karine Silva, but it was really sad what happened to her. There was a big opportunity for her in her career in the rankings. I was super excited for that fight. I was rooting for Macy. It was just a real bummer, just a poor end to the card. And it's kind of bad. I like Gamrot more than most, but bro, for him and Ludovic Klein to be a 3-round main event, that was that. You want to talk about a bummer? Talk about that. So my bummer of the year is Aaron Blanchfield, Macy Barber, a fight we didn't even get. It just was a poor ending to the card. I feel like everybody was kind of like bummed out.
Yeah. So wait, Jay, did you give yours?
man, I might as well just say the Macy Barber situation because literally that was like seconds before she was supposed to walk out. Like it's like damn, like it was just out of nowhere that shit happened. I'm like, what the fuck? Just a weird way for the card to end. So I'm gonna say that. And like Tony said, I'm glad Macy Barber got back and she's in a winning column. But potentially, she could have, like, if she beat Aaron Blanchfield, right? It could have been her versus. She could be close to that title. She could be close to it. But things happen, right?
Yeah. Next up, normally we save it around the last part, but since we got so many awards, might as well hit it up. We got the Tony Ferguson Award. Since Jay's new here to
What
the
the
award
fuck
show,
is that?
the Tony Ferguson Award is for people that are on the You know, like how Tony Ferguson was on like this huge ass losing streak,
Yeah, yeah,
and we never thought Tony Ferguson was ever gonna win a fight again.
yeah.
This is the award that you could give to somebody that is on a losing streak and you think is gonna continue to probably lose for a minute.
Oh damn! This I got my
Um,
ass whooped award. That's crazy.
yeah, pretty much.
All right.
Mine is gonna be a good one, but in my opinion, I think they need to make this fight for this to be a tiebreaker. I think the loser of this fight would officially get the Tony Ferguson award for me. But my tie is between Gilbert Burns and Leon Edwards. Gilbert Burns, I don't know if I like Gilbert Burns, man, but he's on a huge downward spiral, man. And you could say age probably, but he's not the same as he used to be. Like I remember when he was 38 and we thought like he probably will get one more title shot before it's all said and done, but he's day in and day out still looking like he not the same Gilbert Burns as we used to. And um Leon Edwards, I don't know if I feel confident picking him again. There's a couple fights that I could see him winning, like a potential Masvidal fight in the White House or something like that. I could see him winning, maybe a Colby rematch or something like that. I could probably even see him winning this fight, but I don't know, man. Leon Edwards hasn't really been the same anymore. Like we used to think this man was like potentially going to be the big star in the making, like for the welterweight division. Like not the big star in the making, but like probably one of the greatest welterweights of all time. And he lost. He's on a huge downward spiral. He made Sean Brady look like GSP out there against him in his home country. I think that's embarrassing. Then he got knocked out by Carlos Prates, and then obviously we all know he lost his title to Bilal. Like, I know those are good wins and all, but I think at some point it is going to come to a point where we don't even know if this man will ever be the same again.
Yeah, there's a certain point where it's time to retire. Like there's a certain, and like I like Leon Edwards, but I always said if I was a champion like Leon was, and I went on a downward spiral, I would retire because at a certain point you're going to become a gatekeeper, and they're just going to use your name to build other people up, and I wouldn't want to be that. Like that would hurt your ego, like your fall from grace. You want to retire from the sport. You don't want the sport to retire you, and it looked like it's heading in that direction for Leon. And Gilbert. Gilbert need to retire. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. But, you know who I'm about to pick? Motherfucking Benel Dariush. That's who I'm about to pick. Man, listen. It's time. Like, it's time. Benel, like, that last knockout, what was that? Like 14 seconds or something? How long was that fight?
14 or
Like
15.
15 seconds.
Man, he was face down, ass up. Like, man, Benel's a good dude, but like, damn, I don't want to see him take no more brain damage. Like, Benel been 40 years old since he was 23. Like, it's time, Benel. Like, I don't want to see him get knocked out again, because if he fight again, he gonna get starched again. He gonna start doing new animations we ain't never seen. So like, it's about that time, bro.
Yeah, this is tough. A lot of different kind of candidates I can go. I think you guys pretty much hit him on the head. Low key, a lot of them are welterweight. I think that's just like the evolution of the division. Like the new generation is here, and the old guard is clearly like losing. I don't mind Gilbert. I was initially gonna go Leon Edwards, but after second thought, he is only losing to Sean Brady, Carlos Prates, Bilal Muhammad, who are like consistent top 10 level, at least at the time being welterweights. Gilbert Burns, he looks old. He doesn't look like he's explosive unless there's like a significant grappling disadvantage. And even then, like, it's not like his wrestling like elite. It's good. I think it's better than I think maybe, but like he's just old now. Um, you could say Covington, but Covington still like even though he lost to Buckley in a bad fashion, like he didn't get like knocked the fuck out. Whereas Like Burns is getting knocked the fuck out. Edwards just got knocked the fuck out. There was one up. There was another one that I was thinking of. Low key, who was it? I think it was another welterweight. But I think I'll go. Oh yeah, I was thinking Edson Barboza, low key. Edson Bar. Benil Dariush is a great one from Jay too, because his chin is clearly shot. Like he's been knocked out at least like a good 3 out of his last 5. Those are all great nominations. But at least like they have like an element of their game they can attack. Like Leon's not a bad striker, even though he doesn't get knockouts. He has a good clinch. He can get a takedown. Burns has decent grappling. Edson is losing on the feet to Jakar Close now, bro. I think I low key might go Edson Barboza. Like I don't know, like Benil, like if he gets touched the right way, he dies. I completely get it, but he does kind of have good grappling where he can like just like half guard camp a fight. I could feel like low key still, even though he just died. I'll go Edson because like he's losing on the feet now to Jakar Close. I don't see the knockout power. He's not kicking as much as he used to. I think there's something wrong with his eye. I think he has an orbital injury. I've been saying that for the last like 2-3 fights. Like his eye looks slumped for some reason, even before the fight starts. I'm gonna go Edson Barboza, shockingly enough. I was gonna go Leon, but I'm taking strength of schedule into account. And if you're getting outstruck by Jakar Close and wanting to clinch him, I think you're washed.
Yeah, there's a lot of options. A lot of them have already been mentioned. Honorable mentions, I want to say Krylov, Alexander Rakic, and Hermanson. But I think I'm going to have to go with Gilbert Burns here. Or Barboza. Honestly, I'm going to probably have to tie both of them. Probably Barboza slightly, just because, like, there's probably still a world where your Benils and Burnses, like you say, can get your takedowns and hold people down. Barboza lost the best thing about him, which was the kicks. And he's not able to be anywhere near the same person. It's one thing, like, if you get touched and you fucking die, if you can't take a shot. But like if you lose the ability to like be yourself, like he can't kick, and that's what he's known for. He's like one of the best kickers ever, and if he can't kick, man, he's fucking done. So I'm surprised we haven't thought up him up until now, but I'm gonna have to agree with Tony. I think it's Barboza.
I literally parlayed him to get finished in the first round and hit.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I think we all had some pretty good ones for the Tony Ferguson Award. Now, I think since we're done with that, moving on, we got Knockout of the Year. I don't really need to explain it. We've had some pretty good knockouts this year. My honorable mention will probably be what happened last week, the Mma Costa fight. Shout out to him. He with the head kick KO over the French dude. That's a good one. But I'm going to go with this one mainly because of how funny it was. I'm going to go with Carlos Prates knocking out Leon Edwards. It's just how Leon looked right after he got knocked the fuck out. Bro fucking smiled. He hit that troll grin that everybody used to hit back on the YouTube brain fart fucking days when that big that big old white troll face that people would play in the background of a Call of Duty thing. Like that's exactly what Leon looked like after he got knocked out by Carlos. So yeah. My honorable mention would be Mma Costa, but this one in particular mainly is Carlos Prates knocking out Leon Edwards. That one's my knockout of the year. That one's so fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go Rajah Jackson knocking out Psychos 2 in the first. No, I'm playing. I'm gonna have to go with something slightly similar to our boy the Jacksons, shall we say. An ode to the Jacksons. I'm gonna go Elijah Smith, big power bomb KO on Toshioshi Kazama. That's probably not his name, but Elijah Smith picked up this motherfucker and slammed him on his head with a fucking Batista bomb. That shit was fucking crazy.
No, I seen that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pick that. I was thinking the roofie wheel kick on Bobby Green, but I was like, there's been some slam KOs recently, like the Brundage and all that shit. But I want to say that was last year, and there was something specifically like vicious about this one. Like it felt like he went for the last ride from the Undertaker. Like he fucking power bombed the fuck out of him, and that was like one of the craziest KOs of the year. And like as far as like the apex goes, like that was in the apex. It sounded like somebody fucking set off a plastic explosive in there. Like that was a fucking the noise of it. It was something. But yeah, and like he looked like he was fucking dead too after that. Like I think he got stretchered out. Like it was scary KO. I'm gonna say Elijah Smith, goddamn, almost killing a man in there with a power bomb.
Man, I'm gonna go with Rufy, what he did to Bobby Green, because I'm not gonna lie to you, that was a beautiful kick right there. He gave that nigga a haircut, and that nigga don't even got hair. So, and that kind of like his hype went to another level after that. It got shut down eventually, but when he landed that kick, I was like, damn, this nigga cold. I would say this may be one of the best Connor impersonators there is. That's what I was thinking. But yeah, I like that one a lot. But and I'm glad to see Bobby Green or King Green come back, even though I want him to stay damn retired.
Yeah, a lot of good knockouts this year. The slam KO from Elijah Smith is nasty. Malkazayo Costa's head kick this past week was nasty. A bunch of great knockouts, honestly. I think there's a lot of good choices. I really like the Quillen style killed Nasrat Hakparat's head kick. I thought that shit was beautiful. But I'm gonna go with one that I least expected low key the most out of all of them. I think he was the underdog. That's just not how I thought the fight was gonna end in a lot of different scenarios. Even if he would have won the fight, I never expected him to win the fashion that he did. I'm gonna go Lerone Murphy first round TKO over Aaron Pico with the spinning elbow. In just no way, shape, or form did I ever envision the fight to end in the first round being via Murphy. I felt like if there was an early finish, it would potentially be Pico, even though Murphy's never been finished and like Pico has been finished. I'm gonna go Lerone Murphy. I just didn't expect that in his bag. A lot of good kick knockouts this year, though. The spinning heel kick with Rufy, the head kick with Dalkill. But I'm gonna go with Lerone Murphy by spinning elbow. I just never expected that in any reality.
A lot of spinning elbows this year too.
Yeah, Vallejos just got one.
It was Lopez, it was Lerone, it was Prates. I want to say Vallejos was a spinning back fist.
Oh yeah, I'm tripping. It was a back fist.
We ready to move on?
Yep.
Yeah. Moving on, we've got submission of the year. My submission of the year is Gene Silva putting Bryce Mitchell out cold with a ninja choke. I like Bryce Mitchell, but what happened to him was so fucking hilarious. I did not I expected Gene Silva to knock him out or TKO him, but how Gene Silva just put this man out cold. I think Bryce tapped too, but even after he tapped, when he let it go, Bryce just made a funny ass face after. He looked like he was dying and seizing up. It was I was sad about it, but you know, there hasn't really been any other good submissions other than that one, I feel like. And I like a good ninja choke, I can't lie to you. How they need to bring it back into the UFC scene, man. Like I like a good ninja choke from here and there. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Gene Silva's submission win over Bryce Mitchell for my submission of the year.
Okay, let me let Alex go because I'm about to be a hating nigga when it's my turn.
You're good. I got not one particular one, but a series of repeated ones from a heavyweight known as Walter Walker. I have never seen a fucking fat fuck like that been able to repeat the same damn move being a heel hook against so many people. It's like, okay, at some point he's gonna get like an arm triangle, or he's gonna land a clinch elbow, or he's gonna get a K, or he's gonna get a ground and pound. It's been fucking heel hook every single time. Every single time.
Mhm.
outside of the time he lost. And I think he fought like 3 or 4 times this year, so I could really pick any of them. But just the way he like drops into him, like as a big guy, like that's something like he clearly like trusts himself to do a lot. And like these guys cannot defend it. I think like when it comes to like lighter weight class, you got that scrambling ability where you're a little bit more flexible, you can move a little bit faster. I don't think these fat fucks like got the athletic ability to like turn over. And like when you're in a heel hook, like they're locked down. They got no
Mhm.
legs. And like I think it's just like a peak submission if you know how to do it at heavyweight. Is kind of what I'm starting to think because I think these fat fucks just can't defend it or like they can't get over their stomach to get up from it or something. But Walter Walker, just the way he drops down, he goes from standing and just drops immediately down as soon as he sees it. It's very impressive the way he does it. I could really pick any, but I guess I'll go the Kennedy one. Just the way he like dropped down, trapped him up against the cage. There was nowhere for Kennedy to go. Walter Walker, all of the heel hooks.
Yeah. All right. So I was gonna pick another sub, but then I realized it was 2024. So I realized Dustin got subbed last year. So I'm gonna go with the Walter Walker one because, like you said, eventually these heel hooks are gonna stop working. But that may be a cheat code of heavyweight. That may be he may have found a method. Cause it's like that is a cheat code, just like being athletic in heavyweight is a cheat code. Cause most of them niggas have no athleticism at all. So like a lot of them are just fat niggas with power, right? So like it works just like that. So we see an athletic nigga there, they're gonna look like a god, like Cyril Gahn with the striking, like Aspinall with the striking, right? So like Walter Walker, instead of that, he's heel hooking them. And these fat niggas can't do shit about that. So yeah, we picking, bro.
Hell yeah. I think it's a heavyweight cheat code. They can't get
Uh,
up over their own stomach.
yeah, he found a method.
Maybe it's not the most technical submission. Maybe it's not the best like high level one, but I think it's the most aura one of the year. I'm gonna go with Benoit Saint Denis over Mauricio Rufy in France. The aura was off the charts when BSD did that. We all picked Rufy, I'm pretty sure. I thought he was gonna light him up on the feet, be able to defend the takedowns, but BSD proved me wrong. Ate a flying knee on the way to close the distance and find his way into the grappling exchanges. He's a dog. Um, BSD does not have a boring fight in the UFC. Even when he gets his ass whooped, it's pretty fun to watch. I appreciate that. It just had the most aura out of any submission this year for me. He was an underdog. He was at home and he did the gun celebration. So I'm gonna go BSD over Rufy, and that's my sub of the year.
Alrighty, moving on. We got no. We got performance of the year. This goes to a fighter that had a very good performance in one of their fights. Um, there's some pretty good ones out there. I'm gonna go with. Who wants to go first?
Hold on, what is
Yeah, I
the
feel
what is it?
Performance of the year. This goes to a fighter that had a very good performance that will never be forgotten this year.
Oh, okay, hold on, let me go real quick. All right. Hey, I'm gonna just say right now it's Peter Yan. I'm gonna say that right now. He restored balance back to that bantamweight division, and then, like, it seemed like when people were picking him to win, right? If they were, they're picking him. He has to get a finish. He has to. He did have to hurt Marab, and he was doing that. Like what he did to Marab restores balance because Marab looked unbeatable. Like it looked like he was going to out cardio and outpace everybody in the world. And Jan winning means Scales are back. Scales gonna pay these motherfucking bills again. Like you not about to win because you have more cardio. Yeah, Peter Yan is skilled everywhere. Justice was served.
indeed. I think I was originally gonna go with Kyoji, but I think like Tagir is kind of ass. Even though it was a masterful performance. Marab is like that, and we've been shown that time and time again. Like he's a monster. Like when it comes to the cardio, he's almost unstoppable. And I mean, like those shots that Jan was hitting him with, Terrence McKinney goes down to one of those. Merab is a tough motherfucker, and he stood in there and he was game. There was a lot of cope coming from his side at the end, but like I honestly thought there was a very good Merab in there, a Merab that was honestly catching Jan at moments in the feet. But Jan, with his coach, was able to come up with that skill tree that Tony mentioned earlier for team of the year or coach of the year. But I think it's one of the most genius things I've seen in MMA recently. The elbowing on the forearm, it was just like it was one of those performances where other MMA fighters are going to learn things from watching it. Like he really changed the game. I feel like with the the skill tree and like all the different techniques he was showing at the right time. He was doing everything perfectly. Anytime he would wrestle, it was at the right time. Anytime he would kick, it would be at the right time. Everything Jan was doing was absolutely perfect. It was absolutely fucking criminal how the judges made it sound like it was close. It wasn't. It was closer to a 50-45 than it was a 48-47. It was just a masterful performance against a guy who we all thought was unbeatable. And that, for me, beats out Kyoji against a guy who was kind of overrated, in my opinion. Merab is, I feel like, going to be forever underrated. His skills are improving now to match that cardio. And Jan is just a fucking master of martial arts. And he just, like the way Shevchenko talks about herself, that's the way Jan really is. Like he is a fucking master of sport when it comes to fighting motherfuckers. I love Jan, and I'm so happy. But yeah, that is performance of the year.
All right, here comes mine. Obviously Piotr Jan had a very great performance against Merab. I'm gonna be different here. I'm gonna go with Yuri Prohaska when he took on Jamal Hill. That was a perfect performance by Yuri. We saw something from Yuri that was added to his game that we've never seen before. Normally Yuri blocks with his fucking face. Not this fight. This man was literally just moving his head around, weaving every single fight like he was watching Anderson Silva TikTok edit for days. This man was having head movement for days. And obviously it was a great fight. Arguably could have been a 3-round men fight of the year contender for sure if there wasn't any other good ones, but it was for sure up there. But I'm going to have to give Yuri Prohaska the performance of the year award from. It doesn't even have to be that one. It could also be from the Khalil fight. He came back from and just broke him. Yuri Prohaska, man. I just love watching him fight, bro. I thought he's had a very great performance in that Jamal fight.
Yeah, you had a lot of good upsets of the year. Like
We can't hear you.
Hello.
Yep, you're good. You got to get closer.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, there's been a bunch of good performances. Underdog, he looked fantastic in that. Garcia Onama, like he good performances, but when you take into account strength of schedule, the level of the opponent you're facing, I mean, we've said his name a lot, and I think he's gonna win a lot of awards. Everybody completely dismissed him. They thought that
Tony,
Merab
bro,
is.
we can't understand you, bro.
You can't hear me? Okay, hold on.
You sound like you're underwater.
You sound like you're like walking in and out of the room.
Can you hear me now?
Loud and clear.
All right, my phone's gonna die soon, so yeah. I'm gonna go Piotr Jan. What he did in the Merab fight, I mean, that's an MMA clinic. Takedown defense. He fucking out wrestled Merab, dude. Like, I think Merab had 2 takedowns. He had 5. He beat him every way, shape, and form of MMA. Kicking, boxing, clinch, the elbows to the forearm. That was like a symphony of MMA. Like an absolute masterpiece of like a Beethoven, a Mozart, like art. That was fucking art. Jan is him. I'm not picking against Jan until he gonna have to prove me wrong. I'm blindly picking Jan going forward in pretty much every fight. Spoiler alert. I think he's, like Alex said, just one of these like one-of-a-kind MMA fighters. The skills off the charts. The only thing I argue or contest, you could say he has a deficiency or he's not that good at is like his jiu-jitsu or submission game, but he's so sound that he doesn't have to resort to unnecessary risks in that fashion. his wrestling, his striking, his clinch, his IQ. I think this guy can beat Marab in a trilogy by finish. He can beat Umar. He can beat O'Malley in a rematch. Then I think he can challenge double champ status, a 2 division weight status at featherweight. I think he's that damn good. Petr Yan, performance of the year. MMA Symphony.
Right, moving on. Mike.
Yeah, my bad. I was looking at other parts of the awards. So we had so next coming up we have robbery of the year. This is fights that we think that shouldn't have went our way. Went the fighter's way. I got some honorable mentions. Obviously, I thought Jose Aldo beat Ayman Zahabi. I thought that. I thought Jose Delgado beat Nathaniel Wood. There's a lot of robberies this year. You know what? I'm gonna go with Bogdan Guskov versus what's that one dude's name? What was the Brazilian dude's name again that fought Bogdan?
Guskov?
Huh? Yeah, Bogdan fought in his last fight. I thought Bogdan could have won that fight. It was the Brazilian dude.
It went to a decision?
Yeah. Hold up.
I don't remember who you're talking about.
Not Bogdan. Slava. My bad. I'm so freaking retarded. Slava versus that Brazilian dude, not Bogdan. I got
That's how about
Bogdan.
say is Carmelo.
Yeah, I thought Slava could have won that fight. My bad, not Bogdan. The reason why I was reading robbery of the reason why is because I was looking up robberies and I saw the Bogdan and Jan fight for some fucking reason. I thought that was a draw. I don't think that was a robbery. I'm not gonna put that on there. I'm going to put Slava versus who did you say it was, Tony? Camilo. I'm gonna go with that one. Obviously, I think Jose Delgado should have won that fight against Nathaniel Wood, and I also thought Jose Aldo should have won that one fight with Zahabi. But compared to those two that I named, I guess you could say Eamon versus Aldo wasn't as bad of a robbery as that one. So my robbery of the year is Slava versus Camilo.
My pick is going to be a very nothing fight, but I felt like it was very clearly went the other way, which was Jamal Pogues versus Hamdi Abdelwahab. Hamdi Abdelwahab kind of only won that fight, I felt like, because it was in the Middle East and Egyptian. He really didn't do shit in that whole fight. Pogues was pretty clearly outboxing him like all 3 rounds, and for some reason they just gave it to Hamdi. And Pogues got cut after that too, which I got to feel bad for him because he should have won that fight, but he lost and immediately got cut. I feel like another honorable mention was the Myron Santos Francis Marshall fight. I felt like that was pretty clear to Francis Marshall, but I think Guru made a point about like Myron Santos won. But I don't know. For me, I think it was Hamdi Pogues. I just felt like there was no way that Hamdi should have won.
Man, I don't know who the fuck I'm picking for robbery. You know why? Because I wanted Zahabi to win. I was happy. He won that fight, but I don't know. There be so many fights where you're like, bro, there's no way he won. And it's crazy because it'd be the same judges damn near every time. It's like the shit be scripted. Like, anytime I see motherfucking Saudi Amato, even if I see Adelaide Bird, I know exactly what the fuck is going to happen. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what I'd pick. I want to hear what Tony got to say what he'd pick, because
Tough picks. It's like, what is your definition of a robbery? It's very subjective, so to speak. A couple fights that come to mind though. I don't know if I necessarily call it a robbery, but I do think that he won the fight. I thought, what is his name? Jose Delgado beat Nathaniel Wood. I felt that he won that fight, but in the eyes of the judges, considering he got rocked and dropped pretty badly in the first, Nathaniel Wood did look not bad in rounds 2 and 3. But even despite that, I felt Delgado won. Um, Another fight that comes to mind was a lot of people felt like the Spivak Waldo Cortez Acosta fight was close. Um, According to Tapology, the number one pick is Abdallah Wahab and Pogues, so I could see why Alex picked that. But I'll go with that one. Robberies were not too big this year, so I'm gonna go with that one.
Alrighty. Jay?
I don't know who I'd pick, man. Man, fuck it, we thugging. What we got next?
Alrighty. Our next award is Contender of the Year. This goes out to the top contenders that had a very impressive year, from top 10 or top 10 or top 15 maybe. My contender of the year, let me see. Man, there's a lot. Jay, you could go if you want.
All right, I got you. I'm on 1 HP right now. All right, let me think. Contender. I can't even say Joshua Van because he's got the belt. Because he was gonna be my contender of the year because he came back from getting knocked out by Charles Johnson. That's tough to do when you got a lot of hype around your name and you take that loss. Because most people, it derails them for good. Like, he did so good after that people don't even bring up that fight anymore. Like, people don't, it almost gets swept under the rug because he's done good since then. And like, yeah, if I could pick Joshua Van, I'd pick him, but technically he's a champion now. All right. Yeah, I just like his come up after losing to Charles Johnson because, like I said, that should do something to your mental. Because when you undefeated, your ego on another level. But yeah, the fact that he took that loss and he's that dude. He's even better now. Like,
Yeah, for contender of the year, there's a lot of good options, but I'm looking at people I think who are almost surefire to get title shots up in this upcoming year and maybe even have a chance to win the title. I think somebody who's looked dominant and is honestly a good contender to beat a very dominant guy in himself and Hamzat Chimaev is Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. He's a very good style matchup. He's got great cardio. He's improving. This is a guy who we kind of watched improve, kind of like Steve Garcia, where he kind of started off kind of like a bum. He was losing to Kevin Holland. He was pulling out wins against Adolfo Vieira and Jung Young Park, and now he's this guy who's just like relentless. His hands are getting really improved as well. His takedowns, his cardio, everything. And we've seen recently with Brendan Allen, out grappling Brendan Allen is not no easy feat. And he was able to do it. It was a close fight, but Hernandez pretty clearly won. He out grappled him. He had the cardio. I like Fluffy Hernandez, and I think honestly, if he beats Strickland, he's a probably the only guy that could beat Hamzat. So I'm gonna say Fluffy Hernandez just on pure potential, and I think that's a title shot waiting to happen.
Funny that Alex said that. I'm also going to go with Anthony Hernandez. But I was gonna go with Anthony Hernandez, but man, I got another one in mind. He just had a very good fight, became the first man to TKO Brandon Moreno. I'm gonna go with Tatsuro Taira here. I think Tatsuro Taira's got a very good future ahead of him. He's a. You could also put Steve Garcia up there too. I feel like. Let me see how much. Let me see the activity in both between Taira and Go Tatsuro. He had. He only had 2 fights in the UFC. He was supposed to have another. He was supposed to fight Amir Abazi, but that got canceled. Let me see Steve Garcia's. They both have the same amount of fights. You know what? I'm gonna go off hype and I'll go you know what? I'll go Steve Garcia. I think what he's on is phenomenal. He's on a phenomenal run right now. You like he's just been looking great, man. Boxing's look phenomenal. He's improved his game and he's finishing people too. Like dude's just looking. He's on a very big tear here. He's on a big win streak. He's on a 7-fight win streak. He hasn't lost in a minute. So I'm gonna go with Steve Garcia for my contender of the year.
Yeah, there's a lot of good contenders that have been on win streaks. One that comes to mind, honestly, my honorable mention, if it wasn't the person I'm going to name after, it would have been him. He is a contender. He's not facing necessarily the best level of competition, but he's riding a win streak ever since he got finished by Steve Garcia and Mezacayo Costa, who I want to say got his 4th win in 2025 just a couple days ago with the head kick finish over Charriere. But this one's biased, but I genuinely do believe he is an elite contender in his weight class, and he's a guy that I truly do believe can beat the champion of his weight class. I'm going to go with Michael Morales, undefeated, riding a 3 straight first-round knockout spree over Sean Brady, Gilbert Burns, and Neil Magny. Not necessarily the most impressive names in the welterweight division to many, but nonetheless, he's disposing of them in very quick fashion. I think he's legit. I'm picking him against Islam if they ever book that, but Islam don't want that. No offense, Jay. But yeah, give me Michael Morales as the contender of the year of 2025. Biased, yes, but I think the skills pay the bills, and he's legit.
Right, moving on.
Wait, did Jay give his contender of the year?
Oh, what happened? Oh shit. Yeah, I did. I went first.
Oh yeah, who was your contender of the year again?
He technically not a contender no more. I went Joshua Van, but he technically not a. But I went him because like the way he came back from Charles Johnson.
Alrighty, boys, we got 4 more awards and then we'll wrap it up. Our we'll leave men and women fighter of the year last. We'll go some new ones that me and Alex added. We got the John Jones Award. So Alex came up with this one. Alex, care to explain this one?
Yeah, this is more or less the terrorist of the sport award. Somebody who caused unrelenting havoc in the sport, not just for the UFC, but for us as fans, whether that be boring fights or pullouts or anything else that just made him a fucking negative ass figure this year. I'll start off and give my first example. This motherfucker Armin Sarukian ruins the first pay-per-view of the year. Fucking, he's like, yep, I'm going to drink a giant cup of coffee with giant donut. And that's his fucking entire year is just him doing that. Like, look at me eat 4 Big Macs on plane. That's it. That's what we get from Armin. And then he makes weight for Oliveira Taporia and he expects a title shot. Colby Covington maxing. I should, like, bro, you're reminding me of Colby Covington. That cannot be a good thing. And then, you beat Dan Hooker, whatever, you should have done that. And now he's still not getting a title shot. But like I feel like this entire year it was just where's Armin? Where's Armin? What the fuck is Armin doing? Because I doubt whatever injury he had in January was really that serious. To be honest, it just seemed like it was like a slipped disc or like he got to get like a rib pop back in or something. Maybe he just wasn't gonna make weight, but he ruined a pay-per-view early in the year, and just this whole year he just was yapping about everybody ducking him. It's like, bro, you haven't fought in 2 years. Shut the fuck up. Like, I know you're good, but you're a boring, stale motherfucker, and I do not want to see you touch the belt. Yeah, like Armin went from like exciting new contender to just fucking scourge of the division, I feel like.
Yeah, I think Alex pretty much nailed it on the nailed it there. I think Armin Sarukian is the inaugural John Jones Award participant in this year's end of the year wartime MMA awards. I think he has put up a lot of hell. The highlights of him is either choking out a 40-something-year-old Benson Henderson while Benson Henderson was aura farming, and then you just got him eating a whole bunch of fucking big ass piles of food. He's just been disappointing, like from Timbuktu. Like I'm kind of fed up with Armin. So yeah, I'm going to agree with Alex here and have Armin Sarukian be our first ever John Jones Award winner.
Okay, that being a John Jones Award is crazy. When y'all say a John Jones Award, I'm thinking this motherfucker done hit a pregnant lady, a nigga done beat his wife or something. Like damn, I was thinking something else. I was trying to find the most scum of the earth nigga. I was about to say Cedric Dumas or some shit, right? I was about, like, goodness gracious. Nah, I'm not gonna pick Armin. Armin did ruin shit, right? I like Armin only because he make people mad, right? But you know I'm gonna pick? I'm really about to pick Cedric Dumas because I feel like Cedric Dumas be ruining opportunities for himself. Like UFC supposed to be the way out. Like, you feel me? Like, he be moving backwards. Like, the nigga got more mug shots than motherfucking wins in the UFC than fights, actually. Like, come on. I want to see him do good though. Like, I do, but like, he gotta want himself to do good. He gotta change these habits. Then he said, I only got $13 in my account. Hey, listen, if you sweating, don't show them that you're sweating. Don't show us you got $13 if you got $13. You feel me? Like, you supposed to take that to the grave with you, right? Because you know the mistakes you made and you're supposed to work on it. I feel like for him, he don't work on it. I feel like he and this motherfucker just, it's like he purposely sabotaged himself. Yeah, shout out to him. That's who we picking. We picking Cedric A. Dumas.
Tony.
Yeah, my phone about to die soon. I'm gonna go a route that no one thought I would, but at the same time, when I say it, I think you'll think of it. I would have went this route. For me, the John Jones Award's going to a former John Jones victim. I'm gonna go Cyril Gane. I'm gonna tell you why. He's coming off robbery of like gear argument in the Volkov fight, and then he wants to do what he did in the title fight with Aspinall. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Cyril Gane is my John Jones winner of the year.
Alrighty. And our next one for this year is Fan Favorite of the Year award. This goes to a fighter that has been very loved in the year of 2025. Mine is gonna go with Yuri Pro. My inaugural fan favorite of the year in 2025. I know we're all gonna give Piotr Yan probably this award for beating up Marab. I don't mind it. I like Piotr. I'm gonna go with Yuri Prohaska, man. He's just been putting up banger after banger, and I think he has he's just a very entertaining fighter, and he's been putting up bangers this year in the light heavyweight division. When Ankalaev was making our lives miserable as champion, we have Yuri putting on bangers between him versus Jamal Hill and him versus Khalil. Like, I think he's just flat out just having an entertaining fight known to man. And not even just that. This man's Instagram. This man had a fucking gender reveal and used used a katana blade to find out what gender his child is. This man is the most hilarious human being, I think you'd have to say. And everybody's gonna say Justin Gaethje's your favorite fighter's favorite fighter. If you don't like Yuri Prohaska, man, I don't know. I don't know what you're doing. I don't think you're even a fan of the sport if you don't like Yuri Prohaska. So yeah, my inaugural fan favorite of the year award is going to go to Yuri Prohaska.
All right, listen. I'm about to pick somebody that no one's gonna think of picking, and y'all not even gonna agree with it either. Watch what I do. I'm about to pick Islam, and I'm gonna tell you why I'm gonna pick Islam too. No. Watch what I say. I've never seen a crowd cheer for a nigga wrestling like they were that last fight. You know, usually the crowd boos, stand them up. Them niggas was still yelling Islam. Like, I've never seen that before. Like, if it's anybody else that's doing that, what's gonna happen? Like,
they're shouting at you, and they might end up throwing shit at you.
I've actually never seen that in my life. Like dead ass. We didn't see they want them to stand them up. They get booed. Like you gotta think about it. It wasn't even crazy damage being done either. And them niggas was still cheering. That's why I said. That's why I chose Islam just now because I'm like I've actually never seen that. Because let that be motherfucking let that be. Let me think of a wrestler. Oh no, let it be Mario Batista when he was holding Aldo like that. Boy, they ready to kill that nigga. They ready to throw food and drinks at that nigga. So like, yeah, I'm picking Islam just off that alone because I've never seen that before.
Yeah, there's a couple people I was thinking of, but I think the guy that makes just every fight so fucking good, the guy that everybody wants to go 25 rounds because we like to watch him fight so much is Piotr Jan. And I feel like a broken record saying him so damn much, but I really think he's like the fan favorite of the year. Both he only had two fights, but two fights that were really good, winning the title, and I think like that, just him winning the title was worth like so much, and I think Alex Pereira's in the running as well, but of course he lost to Enclave in the beginning of the fight. We were all kind of counting him out for a good portion of the year, whereas, we were counting out Jan against Marab, but like we always were excited to watch him fight regardless. And for him to pull out the way he did, go 2-0, I'm gonna have to go Piotr Jan. Like everything he did was just like was MMA fan creation of happiness. Like everything he did just put a fucking smile on my face. And man, I'm still riding high off of him winning the title. And I will be up until the new year and probably a couple months after. Jan is the fucking champ. And he's fan favorite of the year for me, definitely.
Yeah. I think Alex said what needed to be said. I think Piotr Jan is also my fan favorite pick of the year. He's the champion of the world again. He looked fantastic in his last fight. My phone is literally going to die, so could I actually hear the last award real quick so I can give that before my phone dies?
Alrighty.
What?
What happened to your
Because
last
it's literally about to die, so I just want to give my pick before it goes out.
Men and women's fighter of the years.
Men's fighter of the year, I'm gonna go with yeah, he's got a multiple fight win streak. He just won the title. Call it glaze, call it bias, call it favoritism. I gotta go Piotr Jan. He just beat a guy who was a pound for pound level caliber fighter, the GOAT of his division. He just slayed. I think he kills him in the trilogy if they run it back. I picked fifth round TKO Jan in my prediction video and said he'd be 2-2 going into the fifth. He won that fight really 5-zip. If we keep it a buck. And as for my female fight of the year, if this should be consensus unanimous, this is Valentina Shevchenko. What she proved against Manon Fiorot, what she did against Weili Zhang levels, absolutely amazing performance.
Alrighty. My men and women fighter of the year is gonna go to Joshua Van. I'm gonna explain to that one. I think he has had a very entertaining year in 2025. Yes, minus I know the Pantoja fight is unfortunate, but for this man to not only fight through the prelims from the main card to a co-main event, and he, oh wait, no, I think he fought another fight this year too, if I'm not mistaken. This man was very active this year. Hold up, let me look it up. Josh Van's fights. Tapology. Everybody's probably gonna go with Marab or something still, or Jan might have ended up stealing it. But hold up. He fought. He actually fought 4 times this year. He fought Ray Saruya, the 10-0 dude at the time. He fought him in the prelims. He fought Bruno Silva in the on the prelims as well. Then he fought Brandon Royval on short notice, the number 1 contender at the time. We all thought potentially Brandon Royval was going to probably get get the title shot again. And then he beat. Say what you want to say. Call it a fluke. Call it a win or something. But he beat Pantoja for the title. I think he had a very good year, a very good 2025. Joshua Van did, and he's doing all this shit at 24 years old, bro. And he is the first ever fighter in the 2000s to win a title. I think what we're seeing right now is very hard to. We haven't seen a fighter like this in a minute. And what Joshua Van is doing is generational, I feel like. So my men's 2025 year of Fighter of the Year award is going to be Joshua Van, and my woman's 2025 female Fighter of the Year is gonna be Valentina Shevchenko, man. Like I think we can all agree what she's been doing is phenomenal. She got her belt back last year. She beat Manon Fiorot, shut out the doubt that if she still had it or not. She still does have it. And then she beat Weili Zhang, who I thought could have been Fighter of the Year if she didn't lose that fight. I think that the winner of that fight was for sure going to get Women's Fighter of the Year, but or be potentially pound for pound best woman on the sport right now, since Nunes was gone for a minute. But yeah, my woman's Fighter of the Year and men's Fighter of the Year is going to be Joshua Van and Valentina Shevchenko.
Yeah, I feel like I ain't gonna lie, that's all of our answers by default right now. Like, I can't put anybody over Valentina because she literally got her belt back, and Wei Lee would have been in a GOAT conversation. She beat Valentina, to be real with you, but that fight wasn't even close. She neutralized whatever Wei Lee thought she could do, she's better at. She was manhandling her. And Joshua Van, like, I didn't say it enough about him. Like, yeah, that's, for me, that's male fighter of the year.
Yeah, it's a tough run up for male fighter of the year now, because I feel up until now it was Marab, and now with Marab losing, I feel like it's kind of a 4-way running between Van, Jan, Islam, and Ilya. I think Ilya and Islam, even though they didn't fight a lot, they became double champions this year, and that is huge. Van had the win streak. I think he had the most impressive win streak out of the 4. But the kind of the way he won the belt, I feel like is a bit of an asterisk, although he is a champion. And Jan, of course, it kind of feels like he absorbed Marab's hype. I think all of them are good options, but I think I lean a little bit closer to the fact that we had 2 people become double champs this year, Islam and Ilya. And if I had to lean one way or another, I'd say Islam, just because he fought 2 fights, whereas Ilya fought 1. Islam fought the lineal champion, whereas Ilya fought for a vacant belt. I think that just slightly goes to Islam. But I mean, whenever you can win a double champ status, get 2 belts, whether it doesn't seem like we're gonna be doing the double champ at the same time type of shit anymore. So for me, Ilya and Islam are double champs. Nobody's beating Ilya at featherweight. Nobody's beating Islam at lightweight. I still see him as double champs. Might as well have 2 fucking belts around their shoulders. Hell, Ilya walks around with fucking 3, the PMF belt. So, but I'm gonna have to say Islam becoming a double champion, slightly more active, fought the lineal champion. I'm gonna go him. And for women, clean sweep Shevchenko for similar reasons. Although she didn't become a double champion, she stopped Wei Lee from becoming one. That's infinitely the best win in the women's MMA this entire year. The win Shevchenko had over Wei Lee. And like Jay said, it wasn't close. We expected it to be kind of like a 50-50 fight. Shevchenko just dominated in the wrestling and the striking, and just shut out Whaley. Any other really option it falls short of Shevchenko in my opinion. Like Harrison doesn't have the momentum. Just the one win against Pena. Nobody has the quality of win like Shevchenko does over Whaley.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
And that is it. That will be it for our UFC MMA fight awards. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure y'all comment down who would y'all have in those awards in particular. And thank you, Jay, for stopping by. Unfortunately, Tony isn't able to be here too much anymore. Something's happening with him, but hope you all enjoy. Hopefully, we had a really good 2025. Hopefully, we can continue another good year next year for 2026. Hopefully, we add more context. I mean, add more videos in the future, new videos in the future. So we're gonna try our hardest to have a even better year next year. And yeah, any final sayings before we wrap it up?
Yeah, we'll try to have a couple videos maybe before the end of the year. Maybe something looking forward to 2026 rather than looking back at 2025. Something about what we hope to see in the Paramount deal, the White House card, and in general fights and things we want to see in the UFC and fighting world in general. Might talk about our big boxing fights this weekend a little bit, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I would say keep a lookout for new content.
Man,
It'll be a
man,
while for the
man. That's what I'm gonna say. MMA gonna have a big year next year, right? Shout out to Paramount. Listen, don't make me look stupid, Paramount. Please don't. Yeah, shout out to the UFC. Hey, Anthony Joshua probably gonna knock Jake Paul head off his shoulders. That's all I gotta say.
Here's hoping.
Here's hoping that it even happens, man. But anyways, I think we pretty much set our pieces here. I think the MMA awards for our channel has been pretty big. We had some pretty successful views off this. We're gonna keep this probably doing a yearly thing. Maybe have another guest in the future. But yeah, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe again. Like I said, comment what else comment who would y'all have in these awards, and we'll see y'all later.